Midnight music. Midnight music.
Oh, I didn't see any. I didn't see Knives Out yet.
You never saw Knives Out, Kay?
No.
The first one is just
First one's
Well,
first one's
heard.
beautiful. Ryan Johnson really does a really good job. The second one is the first time around you're not going to get the genius of it. The second and third time around you're gonna love the movie. It's a better rewatch than it is an initial first time around.
Good to know. I've been pretty much in like catch-up mode with the things I've been watching. Like
So
I before I started, I started training on Tuesday, but I had so because of all the bad shit that was going on at work, everybody was taking mad time off to process. But crisis services couldn't just like dip and take off because like
The
who would
crisis
run the
people can't
lines?
take off when they themselves are also in crisis. Isn't that great?
So what they did for us is they gave us an extra wellness week, and it's staggered from January to March. So that way, like, people could go in and out on their wellness week and it not disrupt the flow of service.
Honestly, I
So-
wish I could just get one wellness week a year. That would be fantastic.
So I had my wellness week was supposed to end this week. So like on the 20th,
Yeah.
but my training started the 17th. So I'm like, why don't we push back like my wellness week? Plus I had like my MLK time.
Yeah.
So with MLK and all that, like I ended up having 2 weeks off of work.
That's just the way
Basically.
you do it, Kay. That is
Honestly,
that is
it was
how to
great.
take
Like,
off from work 101 and maximize your time.
in the middle of it, I had 2 days that I could have worked, but I ended up, it was the days I went to meet Enzo, which we'll talk about on pre-show, I guess.
You can talk about it now. I have to set some more stuff up for the stream, but continue, Kay.
Pretty much that weekend, last weekend, Saturday and Sunday were the only days that weren't covered by like my wellness week and stuff. And my manager's like, well, you can use PTO if you want. And I'm like, on it. And I literally took the PTO for Enzo specifically. And I'm like, yes.
PTO for Enzo. That sounds amazing.
Honestly, fucking worth it. The whole experience, worth it.
How long did you stay after you got the photo?
I dipped immediately after. I went home. I wanted to go home.
It's the wham bam thank you man with Enzo, aren't you? Good job, Kay.
Well, so what had happened was, so I went to the meet and greet by myself.
You could have contacted me. I would have went with you.
I didn't think you would.
No,
have
I just told you I
thought-
wouldn't go just to be a dick, but I would have gone.
I honestly was gonna text you guys and ask you guys if you wanted to come out, but I'm like, they're not gonna come meet Enzo fucking
Listen,
Amore.
we
So I'm
say
like,
what
I'm just gonna have a
we say what we want about Enzo, but I'm still gonna see what the dude's all about. Like, I'm gonna show up.
So,
I've never had a problem with Enzo Amore, I'm not gonna lie.
We never had a problem with him. Do I think he's a blibbering idiot? Absolutely.
That's why I love him though.
But wasn't Mr. Anderson there too?
So like
Wasn't Mr. Anderson
What?
there too? So you could have
yes,
seen
he
Mr.
was,
Kennedy. Well,
and no
there
one
you go.
cared about him.
God, if I knew, I would have been there.
Honestly,
Well, I might not have been home, to be honest.
I didn't realize Mr. Kennedy was gonna be there when I bought the ticket.
That's what you would have done the whole time.
So,
I
like-
could see it.
Oh yeah.
He seemed super nice. The whole line was basically for Enzo. But so
I could have seen that coming.
I didn't think it was gonna be as clusterfucky to get there. because I'm like, it's in Flushing because I can.
Isn't it
take
on like a
7
main
train.
road that
But
store? Like it's a pain in the ass to get to. I think. Yeah.
yes, so I couldn't. So I ended up having to take the Long Island Railroad.
Ew. How dare you,
So,
Kay?
but
So
Wow.
expensive.
no, because I live
You're
in the
already in
city.
the
If
zone.
you
You're already
take
in
the Long
zone one,
Island
so it's really
Railroad,
cheap.
so
Yeah,
it
you're
was
already in zone
$5
one.
each way.
It goes up when you go between
So,
zones.
so
Yeah,
yes.
that's right. You're right.
So it's called a city ticket. If you're going between the city specifically, like if you're going from like Jamaica to Woodside or like Woodside to like Penn or something, that's a
It's all
city
zone
ticket. It's
one.
$5. So I took the Long Island Railroad to Auburndale, a stop I've never
There's a
heard
lot
of,
of
by the
weird
way.
Long Island Railroad stops in Queens that no one goes to.
Like, so I get off at Auburndale and I'm like, remember, I'm alone and I don't know where the
Yeah,
fuck
you
I
should have
am.
just contacted me, Kay. I would
And
have come with you.
the store was 10 minutes. I got there easily. It ended up being like pretty easy to get there, but it was like a 10-minute walk from the train station to the wrestling store. So you're pretty much walking through like a residential
Yeah.
neighborhood to get to this main road. So you turn a corner, but there's like I think it was either a park or a basketball court. I don't remember, or some kind of like
Yeah.
handball kind of court thing. But it's just like main fucking road. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna walk on this main road. And it was just chaotic as fuck. I found the store. It was next to a Dollar Tree, and because I'm anxious, I
Of
got
course
there
you did.
early. So the meet and greet was from 2 to 4. I got there like 1:45, but I didn't want to go to the wrestling store until 2 exactly. Cause I didn't want to be early and weird. So I went to Dollar Tree and just like dicked around Dollar Tree for
Oh,
10
that would have been a
minutes.
great show title. Dicked
Then
around on Dollar Tree.
I dicked around at Dollar Tree, and then 1:58, I'm like, perfect, and I'm gonna leave. So I go outside to smoke. I hit the pen a few times, and then I walk down like a few storefronts to the wrestling store. So as I'm going in the store, I see from like down the block a turquoise sweatshirt walking in my direction, and I go, oh my God, I'm pretty sure that's Enzo I'm wearing. Whatever. And I'm like, I'm too early. And I was like, great, I'm early. And the guy at the store told me that the meet and greet was in the other building across the street. He just told me to turn the corner, and I'm like, okay. And I don't know where the fuck I'm going. As I'm leaving, I opened the door to leave. I literally bump into Enzo Amore.
Oh my
Like
God,
immediately.
How you doing?
This is the
literally-
Kay Murphy rom-com that I've been waiting for.
No, literally, it was literally out of a rom-com. We literally like bumped
This
into
is
each other.
this is literally the
Like, how you
story of
doing?
Made in Manhattan,
And I
by the
knew.
way. Don't ask
So
me how I know
leave, and then I'm like, so I leave. I'm like, where the fuck are we going? But then I'm like, I'm like, they told me we're in the wrong building. Enzo just went in that building, so I'm like, Enzo might come back out. So I'm still kind of like trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go, and I'm like smoking. Then I see Enzo come out. He also looks confused as fuck. So I like circle back, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, I asked him like, where's the meet and greet? And he goes, I don't know. He's like, I'm trying to figure it out. He's like, and then he's like, do you want to like find it? I'm like, yeah. So we walk together. So he's
this
like, who are you
couldn't
here
be
to
more
see? And I'm
perfect
like,
for you,
you.
Kay. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm totally mesmerized by the story.
Did he go
Realest
bada
guys in
boom?
the room.
No. No, he did that with the children. He didn't do it to me. I did get how you doing.
Well, he also just
But,
spent
like-
all that time with you.
So we walked from it was like a couple
like,
minute
Quan,
walk,
you're a
like
wild.
3 minutes. Like so we
Let me
are.
open Twitch so I can see Taquan shenanigans.
Oh yeah, I have to also go into Twitch. So we're walking, and then I pull out my weed pen and I hit it, and he goes, "Is that a weed pen?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Can I hit it?" I'm like, "Yes."
That's a double entendre if I've ever heard one.
You like
Lutely.
abso-
Oh, you mean the weed pen? Oh, yes, you can hit that as well.
Yeah.
I have a question, Kay
So-
Murphy. I have a question, really.
And then-
Is Enzo your hall
Yeah.
pass?
No,
Oh.
God, no.
Oh, I thought he was high up there
I'm
on
not,
the list.
and you know he's not a daddy,
What?
right? Enzo's
I knew
not
that.
a daddy.
Then what is he?
I just I just love him.
Like,
Then what is he?
Like, why are we spending so much time
is he to
talking
you?
about it? I thought this was a
I
K
have
Murphy Daddy
genuinely-
story. I can't wait to
No.
clip this, by the way,
No.
for social media.
But he was well, he did tell me that he brought up Daddy Roman himself, and also like said that like Roman has been 420 friendly, which like we knew.
Oh, okay. So I guess Enzo acknowledges the bloodline.
Yeah. So then he was but he said he like even though he is like actively like wrestling, he doesn't watch the product. He just wrestles. But he was like really nice.
Yeah, he.
Once Triple H's got power, he was like, "Yo, Trips, how you doing? Bada boom, you gotta get me back in, man. Bada boom." What? 205 Live is canceled?
If Enzo Amore like showed up in like the Royal Rumble, I would like have a heart attack.
Actually, it wouldn't be the. No, he could survive without Cass, but it still wouldn't be the same.
He's not getting any of that they them pussy. I'm dead.
Taquan, you're out of your mind, but I love it.
Man's is fearless.
We do
You
have to
gotta
get you on the show, because I want to hear
about
about your exploits in college, because that'll be just a story in of itself. So, but yeah, actually, I would love to see Enzo in the Rumble. He'd probably have a really fast elimination too, because Chips probably hates him.
Yeah, probably. But no, like legit, he was like genuinely like super nice. Like at the meet and greet itself. So like I got to the actual store, so we kind of broke off because I went online and then he like went in, and I get there and it's what you expect at a wrestling event. It's all marks.
Yep.
And I like
jeans and graphic tees
and a lot of glasses.
Yeah, and I apart from one mom, I was the only person there that like was not a man.
Enzo's not bringing a crowd of
so I'm just like
female gendered people.
I hate my life. I am alone. Like it's just some weird like wrestling thing. Like I'm this female looking creature alone going to meet Enzo Amore. It's like it was very strange. Like this situationally, but there were a lot of kids.
Enzo is like a cartoon character.
I think kids still gave a shit about him, but literally it was really like he spent so much time with like every kid that came up to him, like was saying like giving literally like motivational speeches to these kids, like saying to one kid that like it's good to be funny but you should never be mean.
Wow.
Telling another kid that like if you believe in yourself and I'm literally like in line at that I'm literally like blazed in line at Enzo Amore meet and greet, getting like emotional because I'm like he's inspiring these like children.
Yeah, Enzo, I could picture Enzo being good with children. Like I've heard him on like podcasts. Like he's not a dumb guy. He just doesn't know how to work with coworkers.
He was like so nice, and then finally among this sea of children is me by myself in the meet and greet line. And then he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then he goes, "We took a walk."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "We did."
You took a walk, all right. Does WWE stand for a walk with Enzo?
But
oh, that would have been a great show title.
Oh my god. We could have done Walk with Enzo, and then the show cover.
Yeah, if Raw wasn't turning 30, we would make it called Walk with Enzo. Yeah. You should. I don't know if you even still have any, but you should have slipped Enzo one of our business cards. Like, hey, how you doing? Be on the show.
I couldn't find them. I found them like 2 days later.
Listen, if that would have happened and Enzo actually did agree to go on the show, then we would call the show Walk with Enzo.
Honestly, like the podcast, I couldn't even get it to come up organically. I tried. Trust me.
And you were high.
If you don't think I wasn't gonna, like, if you don't think I wasn't gonna try to get Enzo Amore on this show, like, but there was no organic way. And I didn't want to hang around the meet and greet after because I didn't
Yeah,
want to
you
seem
missed
like
your
a
opportunity.
groupie.
Once you split that pen with him, you should have that should have been where the negotiation was going.
But we specifically were talking about weed.
Yeah, you can be like, yeah, I smoke on my
We talked
wrestling
about
podcast every week. Boom.
we talked about weed and we talked about like weed in WWE.
Actually,
Like
that is a good topic because who else is smoking the ganja in WWE?
the only name she gave me was Daddy
Well, yeah, because that motherfucker's
and
untouchable.
himself. Like, trust me, I loved hearing him say
I
that.
swear
I
to
was
God,
like, oh my
Fretz,
God,
if
this
you
is
do
great.
meet Bret, when you meet Bret Hart, you better slip him one of our business cards because I want him on this show, and I want him and Will to go at it, and I can just sit back and watch the carnage.
I don't, because he would never do it. First of all,
but in an ideal world, if it did happen, I would just love to watch you two just go at it for a whole episode.
God, I wouldn't even, honestly, I wouldn't know what. I really wouldn't know what to say.
So you're not going to start with like your scale sucks.
I actually think the scale is perfect. My favorite part about Bret Hart is his scale. Just, dude, like I'd bitch out, I'd mark out. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't say shit to his face because I'm a coward like that. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. Fucking Bret Hart, man. I can talk shit on the internet. I can't do it to his face on a podcast. Are you kidding me? And you can't either. Internet people out there, don't lie to yourself.
Well, it'd be interesting
because
you have been following the Monday Night Wars. You can actually talk to Bret about essentially his prime.
Oh, I would praise him for 1997.
Just don't bring up
he was just
Goldberg.
fucking amazing. Oh, that's the first thing I would do.
I think we should get Mans on the show. Mans, Bret Hart, and Goldberg on one show.
I don't want to even be a part of that.
That would be meat slapping majesty. Could
I don't
you
want to be a part of that
imagine
at all.
Will and Bret Hart,
I mean, we would go viral, and then like the show would either blow up or we would be like totally annihilated.
Yeah, forget it. We'd be canceled.
I don't know, but we could have Bret Hart and Goldberg work themselves into a shoot, and we just promote it.
Dude, I would not. Bret Hart wouldn't do it, and two, once he saw Goldberg, he'd hang up.
We could start the top tier talent argument with Bret Hart.
No.
Yo, he'd agree with me. He'd agree with me so hard.
Knowing Bret Hart's mentality, he might.
Like, he'd be like, no, you're right.
Man, you just got to bring up, what the hell's his name? Fuck was the celebrity that became WCW champion?
Oh, fuck. I forget his name. Fretz knows.
Fretz
I know
does
Fretz
now.
knows.
I can see his face. I just can't. I can't figure out. Is it David something? David Arquette. Yeah,
David
there
Arquette.
it is. I want to know. I want to know where David Arquette fits on the Bret Hart scale.
Really want to know? Are you sure?
That might be a good question. For like, well, you have your Bret Hart scale. It's cool. Where does David Arquette fit? Former world champion. Oh my God. All right. So are you ready to go? Okay, I think you'll like our logo if you haven't seen it yet for today's show. Yes,
the
you're
logo
welcome.
that I made.
It was
like,
very,
I
very
made that.
fitting. That's honestly that's only half the reason I got the idea for the show, man. I just kind of fell into place. But are we ready to go, Will?
Yeah, 1 second. I'm still
What the
installing
hell are you
games.
installing now?
Well, it's just all the stuff from Epic Games, dude. It's kind of annoying. It's been a real bitch.
How do you know about all of this, Taekwon?
Don't
What have you been dabbling in, sir?
Maybe he's listening to our old shit.
This seems like a very.
I was about to say, yeah.
study.
There's somebody.
All right, I am good to go. Your boy.
We will dabble with
rolling
Taekwon later because we're about to start the
my
show, folks. So.
My task manager looks good. All right. I said all right. Where's my
Let's
music?
get this show on the road.
Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, it's a very big shock to say, but Raw has turned 30, and for some reason, Monday Night Raw never got kicked off the air in the 30 years. And trust me, they've had a lot of opportunities. We're going to talk about the highs, the lows, the good and the bad, and the most legendary moments in the history of Monday Night Raw, the most important wrestling show in the history of professional wrestling. It is Raw is War this week, celebrating 30 years on Kings of the Rings podcast, and it starts right now. Well, how does it feel that Raw is older than you?
I mean, it feels pretty good, man. I mean, Raw's always been
I know.
older than me. I mean, as long as it's on the air. So yeah, I mean, it feels good not being 30. That's what you mean. I'm almost there though. I'm turning 28.
Yeah,
in
it's
just under a
older
month.
than it's older than you, but younger than Fretz, I believe.
I've been telling, yeah, I'm younger than Frets. I've been telling people I'm 28 now.
Are you gonna be that asshole?
But yeah, mentally I'm 28. I
Ladies and
guess.
gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 324. So appropriately named Raw is War. We are going to be celebrating the life and times, I can't even say life and times, of the longest episodic show in television history, Monday Night Raw, the highs and lows. We've got a lot to really talk about on the show, and it's all going to be about one show in particular, the first time we've ever done, I think, really something like this, but Monday Night Raw is that important. With me, of course, is Will Tarashok. We've already heard from him, but of course with us, hopefully, for the entirety of the show, before Eddie Kingston and Pride and Powerful, or whatever LAX is calling themselves, takes out your internet. Kay Murphy, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing well. Last week, not only did my internet go out, my asthma kind of just started like fucking up. So I just
Good
like
to know
didn't
that
go
our
back.
show can take your breath away like that,
Like-
Kay.
Got him.
Yeah. Podcasting is the most breathtaking part of my life besides smoking weed. I met Enzo Amore this weekend, and it was everything and more. Started a new position at work. Everything's going well, but Franklin is still in brumation, and I'm depressed and miss my friend.
Wait, Franklin's sleeping?
Yes. So
Yeah, I'm
Gotta think
sorry.
about that
one.
I haven't heard hibernation in a long time.
bearded dragons go through something called brumation, which is like very similar to hibernation. So like they're like hella antisocial and sleep a lot and don't really eat. He comes out of his like hide every so often to just like say hello, but like he's mostly
So
asleep
what
all
you're
the time.
telling me is Franklin is
He,
living my life right now. Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yes. So right now he my desk is next to his tank and his hide is like close to like where my desk is. So he's still able to interact with me like the way he's facing. He's laying so he can watch me like work and podcast.
Stalking
It's very
you.
sweet. So he's watching me for his like entertainment while
I mean, I
he's
feel like that's
laying.
what he has to do every day of his life.
What? My Apple Watch just
Your
went off?
Apple Watch just went up? You got a signal from Zordon or something? Like, what's going on, Kay? Are you getting breaking news on your watch
I don't
now?
know. No, I could, but no.
Speaking of which, this has nothing to
had
do
a
with
weekend.
wrestling related. Did you know, speaking of turning 30, they're doing like I think it's like a 30th anniversary of Power Rangers special on Netflix, and it's coming out in April, and I saw the trailer last night.
I saw that.
You're
Never watched
missing
Power
out,
Rangers, not gonna
child.
lie.
What?
Yeah, I never
Will was
sorry.
born
watched
at
Power
like
Rangers.
Will was born like I think a
Why?
little after the advent of Power Rangers. That's why.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah,
I was born
Power Rangers has been out since
95, so-
94.
Also, like, what
Fox.
channel were they on? Yeah, that's another reason why I was.
I mean, we all
Nickelodeon.
were, but Fox was still Power Rangers was crazy.
Um, I pretty much like as a kid, I had like a super like diverse like super diverse
Hmm.
television interests and like shit like Power Rangers, like anything like that had some form of combat was
Yeah.
interesting to me. Like I the Tiger Shamans in Levittown where
Tiger
I grew
Showman's
up, they
karate.
used
I love it.
they had a guy dressed up as the
Ooh,
White
good choice.
Ranger outside. They used the White Ranger to advertise and like get kids to sign up for Tiger Shamans. And I remember asking my mom to let me sign up for karate so I can go to Power Ranger school. She said no.
There's a crazy story. So there's a documentary on Netflix called "The Toys That Made Us," and they talk about the Power Rangers toy franchise.
I love that
Okay,
show.
and we'll
It's
talk
so
about it on the
good.
post show. But when you realize what they did to make Power Rangers actually successful, you'll be like, "Wow, this motherfucker's a genius." But I'll tell you about that later. But let's get into wrestling. Obviously, it's our Monday Night Raw special this week because Raw is turning 30, although it has, in all honesty, it already turned 30 a couple of weeks ago. But they weren't going to do it in like Kansas City. They're going to do it in a good wrestling town like Philly. That's what they're going to do. But before we get to all that, we have unfortunate breaking news that came out last night, actually. Jamin, I don't even know how to say his name. Jamin Pugh, also known as Jay Briscoe, one half of the legendary tag team from Ring of Honor, the Briscoe brothers, unfortunately passed away last night in what has been reported as a car crash. And from what I've read, I haven't read much. Yeah, it was a
Damn.
car crash. He was in the car as well as, from what I've heard, I think I read something on TMZ. Both of his daughters were also in the car as well. Jay
Damn.
Briscoe, unfortunately, was the only person to pass away from the car crash that has been reported. His two daughters are in the hospital and are in, I heard, critical condition, and there's some
One
one had
had
emergency
surgery, I think.
surgery, I believe, as well. That's all the details we really know about, or that I've really researched about the incident. It sent clear and obvious shockwaves around the entire wrestling community when you look at the Briscoe brothers and Jay Briscoe in particular. Jay Briscoe is the older of the Briscoe brothers. They are Ring of Honor originals. Literally since day one, the Briscoe brothers have been Ring of Honor. Jay Briscoe himself is a two-time former Ring of Honor, or was a full-time two-time former Ring of Honor world champion, multiple-time tag team champion. The Briscoe brothers, they have a very, very unique style, but they were also very fantastic performers and wrestlers. Formerly ranked as the number one tag team in the world back in 2007. Most recently, they were ranked number 3 behind the Usos and FTR. As tag team champions. Taekwon Singh, 13-time tag champs in Ring of Honor. So one of the best tag teams of the 2000s and the 2010s. And they just had a crazy, crazy dogfight match
He could have
with
called me the hard R if he
FTR.
wanted to. God damn it, Taquan.
So it's been a very big shock to the wrestling world in general, because Briscoe brothers are badass. Like, you can't get around it. They're one of the best tag teams, best performers. Anybody who's really mentioned anything about Jay Briscoe in particular, number one mentioned that above all, he was a family man and he loved his daughter. There's a cute video out of him doing like a TikTok dance with his daughter in their living room, which is really great to see. And everybody says that he was a great performer. They had a very interesting style of wrestling, but it was something that really grabbed the audience and helped make Ring of Honor what we knew and loved about it to this very day. So, Will, any comments on Jay Briscoe?
It's really sad. You know, I think we saw them live at that Super Card of Honor in Madison
We
Square
did.
Garden,
Yes.
whatever it was. We saw them wrestle. And yeah, it's really sad. Like, that sucks. There was a car accident, but I guess it could have been worse. So
Yeah.
rest in peace,
It
man.
sucks.
You know,
According to Mr. Fretz here on our live chat right now, it said just broke just before NXT, and Vic Joseph, which is I love this about the Triple H era. Vic Joseph actually did make an announcement on air during NXT about the passing of Jay Briscoe, so that shows you that the WWE was aware of it and gave Jay Briscoe the respect he deserved, and acknowledging that he passed away. And looks, according to Fretz, he said they canceled a pretty deadly segment where they were going to do a funeral for the NXT tag title. So very, Very heady stuff.
I heard that they had a New Day segment that
Yeah.
got scrapped. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's good they're aware of something
Yeah.
like that,
And
I guess. But
very classy. And
classy.
according to
that Vic Joseph
yeah,
made
and he
move.
said, and according to Mr. Freds, Jay Briscoe was the first ever Ring of Honor match. So if anybody's missed if anybody's ever missed
Wow.
ROH, it's Jay Briscoe. And the only reason that his brother wasn't on the first show was because Philly had child labor laws and he could not perform in the first Ring of Honor show. So Jay Briscoe was the first match in Ring of Honor. But Kay Murphy,
Child labor laws.
yeah.
Goddamn
But Kay
government.
Murphy, what are your thoughts on Jay Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers?
So you know what makes us even sadder? Today's Mark's birthday.
It's his brother's birthday. Wow.
Yeah, today.
Wow, that's
So
rough.
like, I feel like the Jay Briscoe passing has just gotten sadder and sadder. I think it's just so shocking. Like they just won the tag titles like a
That dog
month
collar
ago.
match is crazy.
Yeah, that
And
dog collar match that got
I was-
universally praised.
I was reading that. You know what's interesting is that both Jay's last match and Brody's last match were dog collar matches.
Really? That's just eerie.
I know.
And that's just eerie. And if you look at it,
Like-
he was not even 40. Which is the crazy part about it. And in terms of age and wrestler stuff, you could essentially argue he wasn't even in his prime yet. They were just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it.
doing
I
it
mean, they've been
forever.
doing it almost like they have almost like a Hardy Boys like length of a career, just doing it since they were young teens. It's pretty wild. He's from Delaware. The Briscoe brothers are actually from Delaware. I forgot where, but they are northeastern boys. You can kind of tell by how they dress and how they operated. They're you can. Those guys weren't from the South. But it's a shame. It's a shame, and he will be missed, and his brother's probably going through a rough time right now.
He's gonna want to help.
I sure as hell hope so. I sure as hell hope so, and I hope this. If there's any positive from this, it'll help shine a light on ROH and the ROH catalog and backstory, because to even survive in ROH at the time Jay Briscoe was helping to essentially found that thing, you have the who's who of wrestling right now all went through ROH. Yeah, our Ring of Honor was like what NXT was back in the mid 2010s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
So if
pretty
you
much.
were good, if you were able to be a big name in ROH, that was your stepping stone to anywhere else you wanted in wrestling. And it's and unfortunately, it looks like Jay Briscoe and the Briscoe Brothers never really got that opportunity just yet, but they were getting close, man.
I don't know if
That
there's
also
any
could be
interest
something as well
for
too.
them.
Yeah,
I don't like that, and maybe they didn't want to leave.
it's
Like,
hard to leave something you started.
I don't. Like, there's a weird
Yeah.
reason why they weren't in WWE, and I don't know if it was the interest I don't know if there was no interest on WWE's part or their part. I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
by either or, to be honest.
But it's a shock to everything. But yeah, rest in peace, Jay Briscoe, and thoughts are obviously with his family and everything, and I hopefully that his children that were in the car with him do survive this incident, and hopefully their procedures, if they are going through any procedures, are going well. So, anywho, let's transition to what we came here for. Monday Night Raw, or Raw is War, and you can see our very clever logo made by the K Murphy themselves. Yeah,
So
this
clever.
logo can actually be found on our
you,
Wrestle
thank
Addict
you.
Radio merchandise store shop. The link is in the description below. It is pretty much put on anything that you want: sweatshirts, hoodies, T-shirts. So if you want this design that we used for our title, for our show this week, it is available on our shop. Like I said, the links are in the description below. But Raw is 30 years old, so I don't know where to start. But let's go with you, Will. Will, in particular, what's your first memory of Monday Night Raw?
Oh, I love this question. So, what got me to watch Monday Night Raw? Because when I first started wrestling, I only watched SmackDown.
Oh,
I didn't watch Raw. So I was like, maybe for like a few months, I only watched SmackDown. But there was always the Raw.
yeah, I remember
rewinds.
Raw Rewind.
And I was like,
I
what
loved
is-
Raw Rewind.
I was like, what the fuck? What is this Raw show? I didn't know what it was, but it was
Yeah.
I knew it was on Monday nights, and I found out it was on USA Network. And what got me to start tuning in was a Raw rewind.
Yeah, it's really
I saying that
hard.
5 times fast. And it was Jeff Hardy versus Umaga in a steel
Wow.
cage match.
I remember that.
And I saw Jeff Hardy do a swanton off the top on Umaga, and I was like, I gotta watch this fucking show. Like, where can I find this? But like, it was Monday nights. I was in like 8th grade, or 7th grade at the time. My bedtime was 10 o'clock, and like we would watch 24 on Monday nights. But after 24, I would like flip over to Raw for a little bit. And when I turned it on, it was always a women's match. The 9 o'clock hour was always a Divas match.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like
I noticed that.
That's like one of my first memories of Raw. Like the first feud I can remember was Santino and Beth Phoenix. It was Santino was breaking up with Maria because she was she was the last diva to cover Playboy, and then she went with Beth. Then he went with Beth Phoenix.
Wow. Interesting. K. Murphy, what are your first memories of Monday Night Raw?
So, while I've watched wrestling like pretty much most of my life, when I was a kid, I wasn't like supposed to watch wrestling, so I kind of just like watched wrestling like when I could. So I wasn't like really actively aware of like what I was watching. But what made me a weekly Raw like consumer was when Chris Benoit died. Yeah, so I hadn't watched wrestling in a couple years. At that point, I was in, I think, 8th or 9th grade. What year was it?
When Benoit passed away?
05 or 06?
07.
Yeah.
Something
07?
like that, yeah.
So I was in 10th grade. So I was in the 10th grade, and I was on the phone with 2 of my friends from middle school who also watched wrestling, and like I just remember like my friend turned Raw on while we were on the phone. She was like crying, and we all put it on, and we were just like on the phone together watching.
Wow, this Benoit was interesting.
And it kind of like re-sparked my like. No, it's not that. Like I got me back into wrestling. Like from there on out, I was watching Raw every Monday.
That's
and
just
I like
weird.
prioritized it.
So you literally like the week before that, Vince McMahon had kayfabe passed away.
He blew up in a he blew up
and
in
that
a
didn't get
limo.
you back. That didn't get you back at all.
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, I'll pass on that. But the Benoit
Yeah, I
tribute show-
wasn't.
Have you guys ever watched the Benoit tribute show?
Not that I don't think I've ever seen it in its entirety.
It's weird. It's really weird. Because it's just like you got Edge on there crying, you got Jericho on there crying, like Michael Cole and Jim Ross, whatever, like it's it's weird.
Yeah, it's
Benoit versus Family is my favorite I Quit match. Oh my god.
freaking nuts. But yeah, I think my first memories of Raw, here's how I remember, this is how I remember it. It's probably not true. But I was in 2nd grade, and I had finally gotten a TV in my room. Classic old box TV. And yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
And the first thing I remember ever turning on my TV was Monday Night Raw. That's the first thing I remember watching. I remember being hooked. And at that time, going to school and going to private school on the school bus, a lot of my friends also were big wrestling fans as well. So like our conversations, like Tuesday during like the morning and the afternoon, was all about wrestling and the storylines that were going on. Because we couldn't believe it. Like we're like 6, 7 years old. This shit is out of this world to us. Like all of these guys are literally larger than life, and we were hooked from then on out. And that's really what got me into wrestling throughout most of my life before I took like an 8-year break because, puberty, high school, and college was a crazy time as well. But as you look through the history of Monday Night Raw in particular, started January 11th, I believe, 1993 at the Manhattan Center at the Center Ballroom, and that was actually the permanent spot for it for a very long time. It started out like NXT originally.
Yep.
until it went on the road, and then it never stopped going on the road and had some pretty legendary moments and crazy crowds. So here's how I want to really operate and do this show. As K Murphy takes a step back real quick. We're just going to run through all the events that we can remember and things that were memorable moments. I actually made a list. And we're just going to talk about the best moments of Raw that we can even fathom and think of. I started my list, we'll tell you this, I started my list based on the network, or Peacock actually, came out with a 4.5 hour playlist of the best moments of the 30 years of WWE Raw. It's not the best moments, but it's the ones that get probably packaged within 4.5 hours of content. Because they literally could have done at least probably a solid 12 hours if they really wanted to. But I will read to you what is on this Peacock Best of Raw list, just in case anybody's interested. So it starts out, Will, and we can talk about these once I'm done with the list. You have the first moment ever to kick off Monday Night Raw was the 1-2-3 Kid beating Razor. Then it transitions all the way to 97's, the first stunner on McMahon at MSG.
Yep. Nothing really happened.
Yeah, it's a lot of downtime. And then transitions to the Austin versus Tyson moment in the ring, which is crazy. There's a genius to that segment too, and I'll talk about it. Then you have all the vignettes of DX invading WCW, which still holds up. After that, you got to Austin and Detroit with the Zamboni. Which I did not know the Undertaker and Kane were also a part of that segment. In that same night is when Austin first attacks Vince in the hospital with the bedpan. Then after that...
And the doink, the thump,
well, no, the doink one is another Vince hospital segment. That's when Austin sticks... Yeah, Mr. Soccer. That's when Austin sticks like the enema up his ass.
Okay.
It's two different times. After the Austin attacks Vince in the hospital, you have this is all still on the same Peacock playlist. Mankind wins the WWE title.
January 1st or January 1st, January
and
1999.
that's actually
yep.
you see the entire match, which is crazy. Like all these.
That Austin pop might be the loudest pop in history.
All these segments I'm talking about, you see all of them in their entirety. After that, they go you to Austin with the beer truck. After that, you have the debut of Y2J. That's also an interesting moment. After that, you see the entirety of This Is Your Life Rock.
Like
This Is Your Life
minutes,
Rock. You have McMahon buys WCW in Cleveland, which is a shame. Then you got the McMahon hires Eric Bischoff segment with the greatest awkward handshake and hug I've ever seen on TV. From there, you get to the first ever women's main event, Lita versus Trish. It's actually a really good match. After that is the Jericho segment when he reveals that Cena was drafted to Raw, which is a kind of big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big moment.
Something like that, yeah. The first ever brand split, because that's the first time Cena was ever on Raw. And then you have HBK versus Cena, the first ever matchup. Then from there you have the return of Brock Lesnar after Mania.
Damn, they jump all the way.
Then you have some moments that I don't really remember because they're more recent. You have a UK Raw where it's Shield versus Team Hell No and Taker. After that match, that's when Taker gets slammed through, get powerbombed. Yeah.
I remember that match. Yeah, that was like
Taker gets powerbombed in the UK, gets the Shield bomb. Then you have a random triple threat from last year, Roman versus Big E versus Lashley. And then you had a ladder match from last year as well, which is Mysterio versus Seth versus Balor versus Kevin Owens. And those are all the moments on that playlist. However, there is a bunch of other things that happened that is not on that playlist, and that's why I started to make my own. But we can go through them as they come up, because I'm assuming that they've all come up when you start thinking about Monday Night Raw. So we're just going to kind of just do like a round robin of it and just talk about those moments. But I do want to start off with that initial anything can happen moment, the 1-2-3 Kid beating Razor.
Yeah, it's like
a very quick match,
right? Honestly, yeah, he wanted to roll up. Cool, cool. I don't get why it's like, oh, this is the moment. It's like, okay, yeah, a kid beat Razor Ramon. Okay,
You know what it
cool.
was
Anything
about
can
that?
happen.
It's that if you listen to it, if you watch the match, X-Pac didn't have an actual name. It was always something kid. So it was that he kept coming every week as a different name, but it always ended with kid. Yeah, it's the kid or whatever. And then he X-Pac kind of got a James Ellsworth like angle, but more time. You know, like he actually became something of himself, unlike James Ellsworth.
The
So
one,
then it
two,
became the
three
1, 2, 3 kid
kid.
once he beat Razor, and as the story goes, Razor's the one that actually lobbied to put him over.
It was his idea, right?
Razor's the one that actually put him over. But Will, what is one of your most memorable segments of Raw that you can think of? It could be a match, it could be a segment, it could be anything. We're just free flowing here.
Definitely not many matches because god damn it, this is so forgettable. But one of my first moments, I'm kind of going. I'm only gonna mention moments that I've actually seen, like
Okay.
while I was watching live, I guess. It was the promo going into WrestleMania 24, Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, like the go home show.
Did they do a video package or was this one like in the ring?
It was in the ring promo. And Rick was pretty much saying, like, I still got stuff in the tank. Like, you're not gonna beat me. And Shawn just goes, Rick, you're a dog, and I'm gonna.
He made the old Yeller comment,
and I was
right?
like, oh, yeah, the old Yeller comment. I was just like, ice fucking cold. I was so excited for that WrestleMania because that's when Floyd Mayweather, like, anytime Floyd Mayweather was on Raw and like Big Show threw him, and that was WrestleMania. That was my first
24.
WrestleMania. So like I was also trying to get my friend into wrestling, so he came over to watch the card just for Floyd Mayweather.
Nice.
So that whole build I thought was great, but yeah, that stands out. Then the following week with the Ric Flair retirement.
Oh, everybody coming to give him a hug.
I didn't know who Ric Flair was. Right? He was just some 60-year-old man to me. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I was like, this guy. I was like, you can do this until you're like 88 years old. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, like those two moments, that first but the WrestleMania, it was the Shawn and Ric Flair that stands out the most.
The old Yeller comments. Kay Murphy, what about you? What is a moment from Raw that stands out for you?
Y'all won't be surprised that I'm mentioning this, but obviously Punk's
Someone was going to bring it up at some point.
Another reason why I didn't bring it up.
I feel like that promo is just like such a defining moment for like our generation of like wrestling fans.
Yeah, I mean Punk did like, pretty much start the internet generation.
Like whether you like CM Punk or not, like it's still one of the best promos ever. It created conversation.
I'm not gonna lie.
That needed to have.
I think the pipe bomb is what made me look for wrestling podcasts.
Yeah, I really think that CM Punk really did birth the internet wrestling community off of that one promo.
Yeah, I just went to Twitter because I heard something about the pipe bomb. Oh, you know what it was? Because I think it was in the summer, right?
It was the beginning, yeah, because right before summer of Punk.
I was off from school, so I would record Raw on DVR, and then I'd watch it like that same night, and then go to bed afterwards. And after the pipe bomb, like they were off the air, I just Googled CM Punk and looked for like dirt, like what would be dirt sheets, because like I was like, was that real? Is it fire? Like I was like it's 2 in the morning. There's gotta be more news by now, and. I was just blown away. I think that's probably why I found the podcast. Like I either found the Steel Cage or TWFS.
Yeah, it's crazy for me. I have a list of stuff that we can even talk about this. I don't even want to talk about the first stunner on McMahon at MSG because you've seen that once, you've seen it 1,000 times. Owen Hart was a part of that segment actually, which is kind of crazy to begin with. But I do want to talk about that Tyson Austin segment. There is a brilliance to that segment. Number one, if you actually watch that segment, when Austin comes out, Austin is jacked. it is scary.
Ripped.
He is busting out of a size medium shirt. Like, he is absolutely ripped. And at that point, it's believable, but it's also psychotic. Like, I still look at it to this day, I'm like, yo, that's Mike Tyson in his prime. I know you're Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I wouldn't have said all of that shit. You know, and the greatness about that segment is Austin flips him off, Tyson pushes Austin, and that's the only time they touch.
That's it.
They touched
whole career.
once, and the world exploded.
And then they kiss backstage. this little peck, no tongue. Just
I feel like
a
Tyson
thanks
doesn't
for the
get enough
segment.
credit for actually. I mean, he's a shitty speaker, but like, he did his job well on that night.
Yeah, Vince was like, "All right, pal, you're just gonna stand there, and you're gonna look menacing, and you're gonna shove him. You're gonna shove him. It's gonna push him to the ground.
Can I punch him? No, Mike, you cannot punch him.
You can punch Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. Okay, Vince. Okay."
Oh my god, that Shawn Michaels punch. You can tell that Tyson held back when he punched Shawn too.
Yeah, and Shawn's
Rocked.
jaw stood up, rocked.
Well, because Shawn was like, just hit me. And Mike Tyson's like, all right.
Yeah, if you say so.
So it's pretty crazy. But that is one of the biggest moments ever in the history of Raw. But let's move on. Will, what do you got next?
Next up, something that really pissed me off, which was just like the first time I was like, damn, that's a really good heel looking back. William Regal beating CM Punk for the King of the Ring, the 2008 King of the Ring.
This I don't
King of the Ring, whatever it
remember.
was.
You got to enlighten me about this.
With the brass nuts.
Good heel work.
So CM Punk was on a come up. Like CM Punk had just come to Raw, and like CM Punk was on the way up. It's still Killswitch Punk, like from ECW, and William Regal was a general manager, and William Regal put himself in the King of the Ring tournament. I was like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And he won by cheating. I was like, you can't do that.
It was still
CM
real
Punk,
for you, wasn't
I was a
it?
huge CM Punk fan. Like CM Punk was my favorite wrestler back then. I was just like, CM Punk should have been King of the Ring. And to this day, I'm still pissed off because CM Punk should have been King of the Ring. Would have been huge for his career.
I think that was the only time I've ever been mad at William Regal.
Yeah. I was like, William Regal sucks.
Okay, Murphy, what about you? What you got next?
A memorable Raw moment that I was physically in person for was when Roman Reigns got murdered with an ambulance.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, we were there. We were there.
Oh, yeah, that was at the Coliseum. Oh, my God.
Yes, it was. That was my very first
That was
WWE
I'm Not Finished
event.
With You Yet. That's when Braun was just doing random feats of strength.
Roman wasn't even daddy
Oh,
yet.
no,
I
we
hated
all did.
Roman
We made it known.
I booed him out the building. And in the section next to our section, there was this short man dressed up as Roman, so we were doing a tiny
Damn.
Roman chant.
Damn.
Tiny Roman.
Listen. That was Roman's worst, but that was also when Braun was at his best. I will say that right now.
Oh, he was
Braun
so
just
good.
destroying pieces, like just a giant semi. I think the ambulance was at the Coliseum. I think the semi was also at the Coliseum too, where he lifts the semi truck.
It might have been the same night.
Finn Balor got a
That's
concussion
also
that night
when
too.
the Coliseum's also where the Fiend debuted the first time too.
Yes, we
That
were
was a
there.
great
We were
moment
there for that.
in Raw history as
That was
well.
great.
Let's staying on the Roman train. Something that I was there for, and I was the only one on the show. But I was there for currently on the show. But it's when Dave and I went to the WrestleMania after Roman beat The Undertaker. And the booing for
The boo.
10-15 minutes that we gave this man. And he ate it. He ate it up.
This is my yard next. Asshole.
I'm proud of the dude for just standing there and he couldn't say a word. Like, we were not allowing him to speak.
He didn't have to. It was his best promo to date.
No, his best promo today, and this will be another one off of a list as well. His best promo today, there's two of them, it's a two-parter, is when he said, "My name is Joseph Anawai and I've been living with leukemia." And then when he
Yeah,
came back and said he was in
Yeah.
remission.
You're right on that one.
Because that's when people started liking him.
Oh, I cried. My eyes out.
That was a weird one, because it wasn't even that, it was when, what broke everybody is when Seth and Dean came out. And they were in shambles. But yeah, that started the Roman train. And now he's, the biggest superstar in the world.
Figure.
Yeah, right?
Funny how that works out.
Back to you, Will.
Is it me or is it
it's
Kay?
Kay. My fault, Kay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Let me think. Oh! The Festival
What?
of Friendship. One of my all-time
A
favorite
moment.
moments.
Oh, what a great moment. Thank you, Kay, for putting that back to my mind.
Okay, but what I find to be even better than the Festival of Friendship itself, if you go on YouTube and you look up the Festival of Friendship, Set to My Heart Will Go On by Titanic, the music swells. It's one of my favorite videos on the internet. The Festival of Friendship, that whole Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, the whole friendship, that was one of just the most fun times in wrestling. One of my favorite eras of Chris Jericho was that era. And I still want to get the painting for my house
Them
of them
touching.
with the fingers.
This-
Yeah.
Oh my god. You know what makes that segment brilliant? Is when Jericho looks at the list. There is a sign in the crowd that the cameraman catches, and you see the sign in the background, and the sign says, "I just made the list." And then you see Jericho's face, like,
wow.
"Oh, my name's on this list." And then you see the list of KO.
Why
Yeah,
is my
exactly.
name
Then you see
on
the
it?
list of KO, and in the background, the sign says, "I just made the list." And I'll never know to this day if it's a plant or not. It probably was just they got fucking lucky.
That's
Yeah.
just good directing. That's just Kevin Dunn being good at what he does.
Yeah, that's good. What else is on this? What else is on my list? We talked about Festival of Friendship. Yeah,
Over to
you,
me. The Nexus debuting.
Will. Oh, wow.
I remember watching that and going, "What the fuck is going on?" Actually, I got two. So I got that one, the Nexus debuting, because that was the moment I was just like, "Oh, I've never seen this before. Like, this is really interesting." Because it's like these group of guys. Like I've heard of NXT at that point.
Yeah.
Like I knew it was a thing, but I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then it became what it became. So the debut is just where they jumped the shark on the first night, unfortunately. But the second one is when Triple H came down and pretty much fired Vince McMahon. It was like the board of directors is like relieving you of your duties. But he's like, "I'm sorry, Pop." This is when Triple H had long hair.
Yeah.
The
Not
bun.
mutton chop strips.
And Vince is like, Vince is like crying. Triple H is in a suit. But the next week with Triple H in charge, there's a walkout. It's like at the end of Raw, it's a walkout. Like all the wrestlers are like in the ring. Triple H is like cutting a promo. They all walk out. Michael Cole walks out. Lawler walks out. And it's just Triple H like in a ring by himself. And that's how the show goes off the air. Everyone just walks out on Triple H saying like, "Fuck you, we want Vince." And then the next week, the show opens with no announce team, no wrestlers. It's just Triple H in the ring. And he's like, "I guess I'm just gonna have a match." And it's like John Cena comes out and like they have a match for like 15 minutes, and then I don't remember how, but all the wrestlers come back, and it's like, yay, the show goes on. But like when that first happened, I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Like, I thought it was real. I'm an idiot.
Wow, how times have changed. Times have changed. What else do we have on this list? I just had something. I just pulled it up.
Brett, I'm with you. Festival of Friendship is better than This Is Your Life.
I'm gonna go back to DX invading WCW.
Yeah, they couldn't do that today.
I hadn't seen those vignettes in a while. They're still fucking funny. They're still really fucking funny. And there were some segments that they never really show when they do their recaps. So at one point, Triple H with his big ass megaphone goes up to the door of the arena. Security clearly doesn't let him in, but he goes up to the door and he's like, "Hey, I just want to know if anybody has any extra tickets so that WCW can have a full house tonight." Like, that's very ballsy. Their comedy was on point. I do still have another DX one back from that era too. Also, when DX targeted the censorship when they did the little speech.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes, because like the censors like wrote him a letter and they just read the letter on air and like were cursing
Yeah, they
a
said
lot.
all the words that the censors didn't want them to say, and they bleeped all of them out. And apparently, the censors like, actually, that's really fucking funny. Keep doing it.
Yeah, couldn't do that. Couldn't do
Yeah.
that today either.
Yeah, but that is brilliant. The DX in some of its original incarnations were wild times to be on TV. K Murphy, what do you got for us?
A raw memory. All right, I'm bringing it back to 2007 in Italy when Mr. McMahon did an open challenge for the Intercontinental Championship and Santino Marella was plucked from the crowd and won.
It's a moment. It's a moment. I will say.
And that was before, I just remember, that was a moment in wrestling that, my disbelief was suspended, and I, bought it. I believe that this kid was.
Yeah, it took me a long time to realize Santino was not from Italy.
Yeah,
That-
he's
Like,
Canadian. Like, why
He's
is Edwin, who shouldn't be
Canadian?
Canadian? Like, why is Jinder Mahal Canadian?
It's true, man. Because, you know what it was in that segment as well? You look at that segment, and he comes in, and he has a great Italian accent, like Santino Marella, and the crowd goes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the crowd,
Yeah, they think he's actually
buys
Italian.
it, hook, line, and sinker.
I mean, the Italians are stupid.
so-
I had a theater teacher in school that taught us that the number one rule of acting is the audience is
that is
stupid.
absolutely true.
So
The
kind
audience
of
is
as
absolutely fucking stupid.
like she used that as an example. Say you fuck up your line. Obviously the audience doesn't know you fucked up your line, but it's true for wrestling fans. The audience is stupid, but a wrestling audience is stupider.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because we don't know what we want as wrestling fans, so you just tell us what we want. You
Literally not at all.
tell us what we're going to put on, and we'll tell you if you like it or not. Don't give us a choice. Make the choice for us, and then we'll tell you where to go. That's how it's going to have to work. Will Tereshak, what do you got next?
Dude, I'd be a fool not to mention that one time Randy Orton punted Chris Jericho backstage and goes, "Sorry, Chris, it's the season premiere." It's one of my favorite all-time Raw moments. It's like, hey, we need a reason to write off Chris Jericho. Let's just have Rennie kick him in the head and say it's just because it's the season premiere of Raw. Just because. Sorry, Chris, it's the season premiere. What? What? It never got resolved. Never got resolved. The next time we saw Chris Jericho, he's confronting Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar busted him open. Just utter nonsense. Sometimes Raw has really bad writing, and that's one of them.
Let's stick with Randy for a little bit. I just categorize this on my list of the Legend Killer Randy Orton era. The Age of Orton. There you go. Yeah, Age of Orton. And even recently, remember when he RKO'd Beth Phoenix?
Excellent.
That was so cool.
RKO'd Beth. He
so cool.
punted Christian, pretty much punted Christian off of WWE.
He punted Vince. He punted Shane and punted Stephanie while she was handcuffed to the rope and kissed her on the cheek. While Triple H was also
No, that wasn't a kiss on the
handcuffed to
cheek. That was
rope.
definitely a kiss on the lips.
I don't remember. He kissed her. No. It was Triple H was handcuffed to the rope.
Stephanie was knocked
Punted
out.
Stephanie. Knocked out. Kissed her while Triple H was unable to do anything. This ultimate cuck right there. Oh, that built to WrestleMania 25, and then Triple H just went in his house and threw him through a window. the next week.
He did RKO Stacy Keibler, which is kind of crazy. What else do you have? Age of Orin. Oh my god. Let's talk about
Legacy.
Let's not talk about Legacy.
Legacy was a great faction.
But if we wanted, this is hard. I'm looking through the stuff that we can talk about. Things that nobody really talks about. All right, here's a big thing for me. It's not one segment; it's the entirety of a story, which I think is probably the greatest story ever told in wrestling. Because it's also played out on Raw for months. The Undertaker and Kane storyline, the original Undertaker and Kane storyline.
I was gonna bring this up.
What a moment! What a moment!
Kane is alive! Oh, yeah!
But seriously, what a moment that was! Like that was the most compelling shit I had seen at like 8 years old.
It is my favorite storyline in wrestling history. That because it took like 6 months of Paul Bear going, Undertaker, I know your secret. I will tell it to the world, Undertaker. Kane is alive. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What and you know what it was? It's because the payoff was so fucking good.
That's gotta be Kane! No shit's Kane. Like, duh.
Thanks, Vince.
Who else would it be?
Thanks. I will say this, and then watching some old school Raws lately, Vince is a damn good announcer.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know the names or any of the moves. Oh, what a maneuver.
It's true.
You know what it was? It was him and King too, because King would be like, she's a whore! He'd be like, stop it. Oh, no, you can't be saying that, King. Stop it.
It was good though.
Or like Sonny would make a motion with tits, and he'd be like, well, that's just unsanitary. Like, Vince would just say the most ridiculous things as an announcer.
He's like the babiest. He was like if Byron Saxon was the lead announcer.
Yes. It's like Byron Saxon is doing his best Vince McMahon impression on commentary, and Vince is better at it. Like really though, like Vince wasn't a bad announcer. He just didn't know the name of the move. What a moonsault! Like, the height. He's 300 pounds. Like,
oh my god, Kay Murphy, you're up. What do you got, Kay? There's a lot of good ones in the comments too. That people have been throwing out. Like for instance, Mr. Fred's because he's Canadian said Lance Storm kicking off the invasion.
Oh, that's right. That did happen.
Brett and Sean burying the hatchet in 2010 is a good one to call on. That is a good one. I'll give you that one.
But what do you got, Kay Murphy?
I got trying to decide if I want to go funny or like something I actually liked. Eva Marie. The end.
You're an asshole.
All of it.
It's such...
Eva Marie.
All right, I'm not even gonna wasting time on that. Will you? You're up next.
So this one popped up on the on Joe Rogan Experience the other day because Joe Rogan kind of knows wrestling. Like he's had wrestlers on the show, but he's never seen a lot of the highlight clips. So it was Shane Gillis, one of his comedian friends, telling him about the time Bubba Ray Dudley powerbombed Mae Young off the stage. And Joe Rogan watched it, and the Phillies laughed. They laughed so hard. Vince and Joe was just like, she's got to have brain damage. She's just a little old lady, not knowing. I was yelling at my radio. It's like, dude, she asked for this.
Yeah.
Like, Mae Young wanted. I was like, you don't know who Mae Young is. Mae Young wanted this.
Mae Young, forever the most respected woman in wrestling.
Yeah. So that moment is just so fucking perplexing.
You know what it is? It's Bubba
like
Ray's face.
He was 76 years old.
It's Bubba Ray's face. It's
it
the
is
face
his face
afterwards.
Actually, I got some sidebar, quick sidebar. I don't know if you guys listen to Mr. Fred, so know the answer to this question. But I got to the point in ECW 1997 where Bubba Ray Dudley turns and joins Devon.
Yeah.
They were feuding for a while. And they hit their first 3D. Do you know who they hit their first 3D on?
I have no fucking clue. Was it Spike?
Ooh.
Wow.
It was Spike. You and Fretz both just pulled it out of your ass. I don't know how you guys both got Spike. Sorry, Kate, I let you guess, but you would have guessed Spike too.
I would.
So
I
speaking
would
of Sidebergs,
Yeah, Spike Dudley.
so
took
speaking
the
of
first
Sidebergs,
3D.
apparently, according to Mr. Fretz in the comments, this is exactly what happened. Why Bubba Ray had that face. Apparently, Mae Young asked Bubba to slam her hard. She then farted on him, and that's why his face was that way.
Oh my god.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You
That's
know what?
pretty
Because he
good.
had to be a serious face because he couldn't laugh. Probably. Which is
That is
great.
pretty
For
funny.
me, we're gonna stick with Mae Young here. And Mae Young and Mark Henry. And the fact that Mae Young burped the hand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the only reason that segment happened was because Vince thought it was funny. And he was right.
He's right. I mean, it even debuted at WrestleMania.
Remember when he came back as like a teenager and he was the hand? Oh my god. So fucking good. Oh my god. But the Mark Henry Mae Young storyline, weird as fuck, but so memorable. K Murphy, what do you got?
Pretty sure this is a Raw moment, but do you remember for Royal Rumble a couple years ago when SmackDown invaded Raw and Becky? Did that
Bloody
when Becky
Becky,
got punched in the
Bloody
face?
Becky
Yes.
That
Survivor
was Raw,
Series, but
right?
yes, that is Raw.
Yes.
No, that's the birth of the man, an unconscious man, but the birth of the man nonetheless.
Yeah.
Nia's biggest hit was Becky Lynch's career. Pretty
Yep.
much.
Still my favorite era of Becky.
Oh yeah, the original man Becky was great. Will Tereshock, you're up, sir.
Oh, 2008 like presidential debates for the Democrats. I don't know why they did this, but there was a fake debate on Raw between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton,
Oh my god, I remember that.
and they got actors, and they put Barack Obama with like fake
He
ears.
does.
He has big ears, and the guy went, "If you
What Barack is
smell
cooking?"
what the Barack is cooking." And they had balloons fall and everything. I was like, why is this on wrestling? What the fuck is happening?
I thought I fever dreamed that. That was real.
That happens.
Oh my
Caleb,
god.
I'll find a link and send it to you.
Wow.
Thank you,
Okay,
thank
I don't
you.
even know how to go. I didn't know where to go from there.
Oh, the Vince McMahon giving away $1 million.
Oh, I forgot about that. I did, but I'm not gonna go that. I'm gonna go with one that because there's still a lot of shit on here. Okay, let's go to all the things that ever happened to Stephanie McMahon on Monday Night Raw in particular. Okay, number one, she was almost sacrificed to The Undertaker. Okay, she was
Married.
essentially date raped, not to trigger anybody, but Triple H married her while she was unconscious.
Yeah.
She's been thrown in the mud, literally. That's how Vicky Guerrero went off TV.
I was going to
She's
mention
slapped
that.
almost every person on the Raw roster. She's gotten kissed without her consent by Randy Orton. And stunned.
And Eric Bischoff.
What?
And Kurt
Well, no,
Angle.
wasn't that all on SmackDown, the Kurt and Bischoff kissing?
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Chris Jericho also called her a whore for like 6
Yeah,
months.
The Rock joined in on that, too.
Um,
When she got breast implants, that was also a storyline for a while.
Yeah.
All the stuff that's happened to Stephanie. She's supposed to marry Test, and that didn't happen.
Wow.
Oh, when Stephanie McMahon was revealed to be the buyer of ECW, which is also a big moment at the time. Yeah, because remember,
yes.
Shane was like, "Oh, I didn't buy ECW. Stephanie did." I mean, what sells it is JR. JR has a great. He's like, "The sins of the father have come to roost for Vince McMahon." I'm like, "Wow, you're a really good JR."
You are really selling this.
It was so good. So that's my whole thing. Everything that's ever happened to Steph on the show, and that's not the worst of it, by the way, because Vince McMahon tried to push an incest angle for the longest time.
Yeah. And instead he got Hornswoggle.
Yeah, that is true. K Murphy, what do you got?
I have Paige winning the Divas title on her first night. on Raw.
Yes, in New Orleans. It's a great
Right?
moment. Great moment. Paige Turner for the win. She also retired in New Orleans too. Yes, she
Yes, she
did.
did.
Will Tarashuk, it's up to you, sir.
Edge's retirement
Oof.
speech.
Oof, I've
Yeah.
seen that. That's man.
That one sucked. So like, damn, his last match was with Alberto Del Rio. That's
At the worst
real
WrestleMania
tragedy.
of all time.
Yeah.
You know, oof. Yeah, there's one. Mine, I'll see your Edge and I'll raise you Daniel Bryan's.
Daniel Bryan is way better.
Yeah.
His whole thing, he's just like, when I'm about right here, I was just like, oh.
You know what
really
got
miss
me
this
with the
guy.
Daniel Bryan one when he talked about the last time his father got to see him wrestle. Because that's what he pretty much started out the thing with. I mean, he talked about the charity that he was going to donate a lot of stuff to, but then when he talked about he talked about, which is another great Raw moment, when they hijacked Triple H's segment in Seattle, and Triple H was visibly pissed because they were going to unify the titles and they had the whole title unification ceremony, and it was in Seattle, and they wouldn't stop cheering for Daniel Bryan until he acknowledged them. And then Bryan goes on to say, that was the last time my father saw me in a ring, which was nuts. And if that doesn't get you, the 24 about that entire show will break you to tears. You ever seen the 24 of that one, Will or Kay? That is a hard one to get through.
I love those 24s. It's like one of the best stuff they do.
And what I loved about it even more is you got to see Vince McMahon tell Daniel Bryan, you have the final segment, take as long as you need.
Yep.
I thought that was perfect for him. Yep, take as long as you want. So, Kay Murphy.
Probably I would pick both the Shield, like getting together, and then the Shield reuniting in 2017.
In the same arena, Indianapolis.
That was in the same
they
place
always
too?
reunite. The Shield always reunites in the same place.
Oh.
It's a weird thing that just happens to them, except for that one time in Barclays when that was a surprise,
Oh yeah.
which I almost lost my cookies for. But Will Tarashuk.
You know, I just had one, but I lost it. Damn it. I just had it, but not the Shield. Damn it. I don't remember.
I'll give you one then. Will the Shield being dismantled because there's always a plan B.
Yeah.
And
was a good
CM
one.
Punk started the IWC era. This broke the marks. This shattered everybody. Shattered everybody. That's a moment. That steel chair in the back. You know what's crazy? No one saw it coming. Like the setup is clear as day.
Yeah, that they did set up the camera.
No,
angles.
even in the camera, you see Seth just never step forward, and he just lays them out. But it was good. It's one of those shocking segments that happen. Should we go back to you, Will, or should we? Okay, has one.
I have one.
Go, Kay. Because I
why I
had it,
make
I can't
lists.
remember what it was. It's bugging
I
me.
have I have two words for you, and
What?
Will, you're gonna be mad.
Yes,
Raw Underground.
Yes,
Hell yeah, I love Raw Underground. I remember what it was.
Raw
now.
Underground is a segment that was gone too soon.
God, it
Something
was
like
like
that.
8
It was a
weeks?
Shane McMahon experiment that
It
Vince
was
hated.
awesome. It was awesome. Fuck you, all right? I'll say it. Raw Underground was awesome.
Even Taquan is wrong.
Raw Underground was
sometimes.
great. I don't care what anybody said. Will, you got it?
Mine was that one time Paul Heyman spoke Latin during a Brock Lesnar promo. They're just speaking Latin, it's going.
Oh yeah, he read
nuts.
somebody their rights. He read them their rights in Latin.
Yeah, it was nuts. Paul Heyman is going off.
Oh my god, because there was a time when Brock Lesnar was Suplex City Brock, and Paul would just go off on the mic every week.
Yeah, it's go crazy. There's one time I remember Vicky was like Latin. Like we freaked out on the show too.
Yeah, it was nuts. What else do we have? Oh, here's a more recent one that I loved. AJ turning heel on Cena was a moment.
Yeah.
Was a moment, which started AJ's run as one of the top guys in WWE.
Yep. Cena put him over. Cena did the same thing with Kevin Owens. The John Cena United States
Absolutely.
Open Challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he you can say from the people he fought in the Open Challenge, minus a few people, those are the stars of today. Each and every one of them.
Yep.
And
Except Cesaro.
And the man formerly known as Zack Ryder. Because that happened.
Yeah.
I was excited. I went to
The Brawl for All.
Stop
Threads,
it.
that's a great one.
Stop it. Oh man, but yeah, no. I went to a Raw during the Cena United States Open Challenge, and we should have known it was fucking Ryder. But it was right when the Entourage movie was coming out, so the entire cast of Entourage was there, and they're like, "Oh, we're not going to challenge you, John, but we got a Long Island native, Zack Ryder," and fucking he lost really quickly.
Yep.
Boo.
I was like, I should have seen this fucking coming. Who is it? Is it up to me now still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Easy. Rock concerts.
Yeah,
Rock
concerts,
concerts.
pretty dope.
All of them. All of them. A gimmick Elias tried to make a whole career out of, and he somewhat succeeded. Speaking of concerts, though, that's also in the same vein of concerts. Does anybody remember Elias and Kevin Owens getting booed out of Seattle?
Oh, that was amazing. I do. That was awesome.
Oh my god.
Kevin Owens is like Supersonics. He's not even watch basketball.
Oh my god. K Murphy, what do you got?
This is a nod to teenage me. I would like to give it up for all the bra and panties matches that existed when I was a
Did
teenager.
that help you awaken some things inside of you, Kay?
Confirming.
Oh man. Wow. Fred says he knew people who were there when KO and Elias got booed out. They said the boos were so loud the building shook.
Wow.
Seattle, man. Seattle's a nuts time.
That's so cool.
That is amazing. They should have ran with KO and Elias as a heel faction. That would have been great. But yeah, where are we gonna go? Oh, up to you, Will.
The Rock coming back in
Surprise
2011.
guest, surprise host of Mania.
Yeah, the guest host for WrestleMania. That was like, I watched that segment the other day and like how long it took for him to come out. But once I heard the, I just lost it. I just went nuts. I went nuts. I went nuts 12 years later.
Yeah, no, that's a crazy one. What do I have? This is up for debate because this was kind of just a staple of Raw for almost 2 years. The Authority.
Yuck.
Like they were such a staple of the show. They did relatively nothing.
Although them coming back on New Year's Eve Raw, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, okay, that's pretty awesome. I laughed really hard.
Wasn't that when who was it? Someone threatened Edge? No, they threatened to break Edge's neck, right?
Yeah, and Cena
like a
brought
little
him back.
Bitch. Like a little bitch that he is.
And then they came out and Raw went off the air. This Vince and Triple H with balloons falling, them champagne going, Happy New Year, and then drinking their champagne. I was just like, all right. All right.
Oh man, Kay Murphy, who do you got next?
I have Mick Foley's general manager.
Have a nice day, Foley. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That saved his career, to be honest with you. The first time around. That was a good time. You mean Foley GM the first time, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a nice time.
Will. Got anything for me, Will?
I need a Vince one.
I'll give you one while you're waiting to figure that one out, which I'm gonna change it. Okay. Ric Flair returns as the Consortium.
When did
So
that
it
happen?
was right after
For
18.
that.
It was when Ric Flair's contract with WCW came out, and so, essentially the whole idea was that Shane McMahon had sold WCW to a consortium, and Ric Flair was the consortium. So the angle was Ric Flair returned, and he now owns half of WWE with Vince. It was after Invasion. Thank you, Fred. Sorry.
You know, I do got one. The Miz
Miz
cashing in
girl.
on Randy Orton. Yeah, Miz girl.
Miz girl.
Ms. Girl. K. Murphy, what about you?
Hmm. Shit. I'm like running out of
I can
things.
insert one for you that you probably remember.
What?
Pillman's got a gun.
I was gonna bring that up eventually.
Oh yeah.
Pillman's.
Austin's on the run.
I remember that now.
What did the cameraman do?
Honestly, that's one of the segments that they probably should have got kicked off TV for.
Yeah, probably. They didn't tell USA. Yeah, imagine that today.
Oh my god.
Hey, who would it be? Sammy's got a gun.
Yeah, the bloodline comes for Sammy, and Sammy pulls out a gun.
Yeah, he's got a gun.
Oh my god, it'd be, that's something KO and Sammy would do actually. A Sammy like a Pillman's got a gun angle. I'll throw some other ones out there for you as you guys are thinking. The debut of Goldberg after Mania was a big deal at the time. Which is funny because a lot of WCW people debuted against The Rock, which is hysterical. Like Jericho's debut, as big as it was, when you look back at that segment, The Rock owned him.
Yeah, The Rock kind of buried him real
Yeah.
quick.
The Rock made him bad. We're gonna start throwing stuff.
Oh, speaking of Jericho, when he threw Shawn Michaels to the
3000 or
Jericho,
whatever.
the ultimate, that was the greatest heel turn I've
Didn't
ever
he also
seen.
like hit his wife?
Yeah, that was on
okay.
Unforgiven though, or that was like a SummerSlam or something. Yeah, he punched Shawn Michaels' wife like legit.
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to
He
miss,
didn't
and
miss.
he didn't miss.
Yeah.
Oh.
Every time
Got her.
I was gonna say every time the Brood did a bloodbath. Also great Raw moments. We missed one retirement actually that we never talked about just yet. The pink
Henry?
salmon suit Mark Henry retirement. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude! What a fucking moment.
I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
I did too.
Same.
I got more left in the tank. Oh, so good. What else do we have here? The second greatest cash in of all time, Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
Classic Raw after Mania moment there. The only time Dolph Ziggler became relevant, and he soon was irrelevant after that.
Yeah, he got concussed. Not his
Speak for yourself.
Another one, what did I say? Oh, this was also a crazy moment when it happened. The Rock challenging Hogan to a match at Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
That was monumental. Also,
You got Rock and Cena booking the main event of next year's WrestleMania,
and
the
the
day after
entire
the previous
promos for the
WrestleMania.
rest of the year.
Yeah. And
French
then they
is
did it
really
again.
adamant that we mentioned Bob Barker for some reason on Raw, but
Oh, the special guest, Bob Barker. Him and Jericho were fucking hilarious.
I'm more privy to Bevy White because she's like, I'm gonna whip some ass.
Betty White was good. Pee Wee Herman was good because Pee Wee Herman. Like, the word of the day is ridiculous. Like, I love Pee Wee Herman.
Here's one for you, K Murphy, that I'm surprised you didn't bring up. When Enzo and Cass broke up, and Enzo shed one
Oh my
tear.
god, a single
Yeah.
tear. That was one of the worst nights in my life.
How about when the Vaudevillains almost
That
took
was on
his
a
head
pay-per-view.
off?
That was on a
I
pay-per-view.
thought that was on Raw. Shit.
Because
Enzo and Cass breaking up shook me.
Enzo and Cass's debut was great, and then they broke up. Let me see what else.
They never
never
won
did,
tag
nope.
titles.
Nope. What else do we have? Oh, Randy getting kicked out of Evolution,
Yeah.
and also Batista denying Triple H and signing with SmackDown. The thumbs
Oh,
down.
thumbs down.
The thumbs down. I don't know if you know this one. Besides Die Rocky Die, because Die Rocky Die is also a great moment in the history of Raw. Looking back at it, but does anybody remember the Val Venus and Kai and Tai angle? Yes.
Chubby pee pee.
Do you remember that entire storyline and how that segment ended?
Val Venus got
Correct.
kidnapped. They tied him up in a room, like arms
Butt
and legs,
naked,
like
by
tied.
the way.
Butt naked, took a sword, and they
Yeah,
insinuated
they
they chopped
turned
off
off
his
the
cock.
lights right before. And
Yeah.
do you know who they had on to sympathize with Val Venus? The husband
I don't
of
remember.
Lorena Bobbitt. You know, the girl that chopped off her husband's dick.
Chopped her husband.
He was on the next week.
Jesus Christ. Remember when DX tore up the Nation's locker room and like X-Pac like wrote like the N-word on the wall? Like, he
Well,
might
they
as
also had
well have.
X-Pac in blackface,
Oh
which
my
they got away
God.
with because the Nation was okay with it because they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Mark
He
Henry
was
was
like,
yeah,
it was
it's
fucking
fine.
funny. He's like, I laughed.
It was funny. DX impersonates the Nation. The Nation, because that's when the
Yes,
the
the
Croc is
Croc.
cooking. They piss in the DOA's bikes.
Any segment with the APA.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the first ever women's main event, Trish and Lee. Oh, well, we did. We talked about it briefly, but that was also it's when you look
did.
back, it's a really funny match. Not funny, but it's really fun matches. They did a good job. You also have, when speaking of the women, the reveal of the women's evolution. When Stephanie debuts Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky. They take everybody out. And then also, I think probably the best women's match I've seen ever on Raw, Falls Count Anywhere, Charlotte versus Sasha. Which is the bank statement. The bank statement on the railing, yeah.
On the railing, yep. Yeah.
But also a moment that not really many people talk about, was still big. Remember when Charlotte belittled Ric Flair to end the Raw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And made Ric Flair cry again.
Man loves
Yeah.
crying.
And then another segment that we kind of it was a big deal at the time, but it was the Paige and Charlotte promo segment when Paige mentions Reed.
I don't
She
remember
talks
that
about
one.
Reed's death. You don't remember that one?
No,
do
I
not.
don't care.
Well, no, she talked. She blatantly mentioned Reed killing himself. That's why.
Sorry.
Like Paige mentioned it as like a jab at Charlotte.
Oh, this part of the submission?
No, this is when they were
sorority?
feuding. They were going for a title. I forgot what the actual thing is. Fretch will probably figure it out and know it. But a couple more things before we do get off the air. A couple more cringe moments, like Snitsky punting a baby.
How dare you hold your tongue?
Snitsky punting a
excellent.
baby. Also another segment that probably should have gotten Raw kicked off the air. Vince making Trish Stratus bark like a dog. Remember that segment?
Oh, the Kiss My Ass.
Yeah.
The Kiss My Ass Club was funny. The Trish bark like a dog one is very cringe. Looking back at it's very uncomfortable. And then last but not least, one of the best hits and misses of Raw ever, the Higher Power.
That's so fucking stupid. Dude, they had Shawn Michaels, years later, they had Shawn Michaels wrestle God, or tag team with God on a pay-per-view. It was built up on Raw. Like Backlash 06. Yeah, the Higher Power. Man, you know what it is? Like, I can't judge it because I need to watch it, live. I need to go week by week and actually see, wow, they built this up. You know what it was? It's
because it was The Undertaker building it up, so it brought a lot of credibility. I answer to a higher power than me. It's the
I mean, he's right. Vince. So in that perspective,
yeah, the corporate ministry, which is crazy. I mean, you look back at the corporation. The corporation was loaded with talent. The Ministry of Darkness, not so much as the Undertaker's boys, but then together, we don't mention Ken Shamrock enough because Ken didn't do too much.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock's a damn.
He was better outside of WWE, which is crazy to think about his wrestling career. Well, no, not even his UFC stuff. His UFC stuff is legendary. I'm talking about just in pro wrestling in general. When he went to Impact, he was fucking phenomenal. I think that's all the Raw segments I can think of. I know we probably missed something. Oh yeah, just one for UK. Jeff Hardy versus The Undertaker ladder match. I'm surprised you never brought it up.
I love that match. I thought we talked about it before. I saw it in the chat,
brought it up.
No, so I didn't want to be redundant.
The anonymous Raw general manager. Raw's GM was a fucking laptop.
Hornswoggle.
Batista's give me what I want. And then we didn't get what we wanted.
We got a trip again.
That's all I wanted. Bischoff.
We did mention Bischoff coming to Raw. The greatest handshake.
Raw Roulette.
Ooh, I didn't even talk about Raw Roulette.
Raw Roulette was always a lot of fun.
I also like one of my personal favorites. It was an old school Raw, a Raw reunion, whatever the hell they wanted to call it that year. And Jake the Snake came back.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, and he put the snake on Dean, and Dean couldn't stop smiling.
He's got a smirk on his face. I got some boner right now.
Yeah, no, it was good. Raw's had just some crazy moments. Obviously Big E cashing in was a big one as well. And what's people don't really talk about a lot. There was a TLC match on Raw once. There was a TLC match on Raw, and it was amazing. Not as great as the one on pay-per-views.
There was a Hell in a Cell on Raw too. There's a Hell in a Cell on Raw too. Just a couple of things, but yeah, that's Raw. And honestly, to wrap things up, as we're going to probably start coming to a close here for Raw as well, you really have to understand the importance of this show in particular, Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw is not just any other wrestling show. It is the wrestling show that all wrestling shows are kind of based off of, including SmackDown, by and large. It's the longest episodic show in television history. Number one, it's pretty much made its way to pop culture status. It's one of the most viewed TV shows of all time. It's had some of the best segments in television history that have transcended just wrestling and has gone all the way to mainstream, especially during the Attitude Era with people like Mike Tyson and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Wrestling wouldn't be where it is today unless Monday Night Raw existed. And everybody's trying to chase Monday Night Raw and the success that it has had for these 30 some odd years, and I don't know if anybody's gotten close. Will Tarashak, what about you? I agree. It's very well said. Raw is just First of all, like Raw. I don't know why they called it Raw.
It's raw,
a weird
real,
name,
uncut.
but it works.
You know, it's raw. It's supposed to be live. Anything can happen.
True. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's Monday Night Raw. It's been on Monday night for 30 years. Like, I think the only thing that comes close
Now
is
it's
like
actually SmackDown.
with a longer run.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is SmackDown's number 2. Well, Simpsons
Correct.
isn't weekly, but like I think the only show that's been on longer, that's like a news show, that's like entertainment like that. Well, news is entertainment, but is the Simpsons because Simpsons been on since 1989. But Raw is going to outlive the Simpsons.
Yes, it
by
is.
far.
The only other one there is Doctor Who, but Doctor Who also took time off for a while.
There is no time off with WWE Raw. Like, even in a snowstorm, they did a show. It was a promo show, but it was a show nonetheless. I don't know if anybody ever remembers that.
I do.
Yeah, there was
That's
a
not too long
snowstorm
ago.
that hit like the Northeast, and they couldn't actually do a live show. So Vince got most of his top superstars to headquarters and was like, "We're cutting promos for 3 hours. Let's go." And they pulled it off. It was pretty amazing. But any final thoughts, Mix Murphy, on Monday Night Raw?
Monday Night Raw is a television institution that I hope to watch for another 30 years. I mean, assuming it doesn't suck.
That's a good caveat.
You never know. It can always get worse.
I know, we had Snitsky pun a baby.
I'm sure we can
Don't
get
say that.
worse than that.
Don't say that. Please. Do not say that. But with that being said, that concludes our look back at 30 years of Raw, some of our favorite moments. If you have any other favorite moments, please leave it in the comments of this show below. Wherever you're listening to us, or if you're going to watch us, leave some comments of your favorite Raw moments. Without further ado, we need to get to the post show. Will Tarashak, are you ready? Thank you. Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 324 of Raw is War. Our look back at the 30 mostly amazing years of Monday Night Raw, excluding that time when they were on Spike TV, because we're not really even going to touch that. I have been your host, King Ricky Rose. You can formally find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media outlets whenever I return to real social media. Find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR_podcast, all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Discord, so on and so forth. The links to all of our stuff, including some amazing merchandise, is in the description below. If you're listening to us, please make sure that you're listening to us on Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast, and follow Wrestle Addict Radio socials at Addict_Wrestle on Twitter and Wrestle Addict Radio everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, leave us some 5-star reviews, like this video if you're watching it, like this episode if you're listening to it, because it really helps us get the word out there. But we are one of the best wrestling podcasts probably out there, and that's just me just self-promoting my own brand. Will Tarashak.
Check me out on the Fretzelmania podcast. Fretz and I went for almost 2 hours talking about Royal Rumble 2003. We watched it live. You can watch along with us and get our shenanigans and commentary. It was a lot of fun. Fretz, congratulations again to episode number 100. Complete honor to be a guest on that show. And it was a lot of fun. Royal Rumble 2003.
Awesome.
Phenomenal card. K. Murphy, you got to go on that. You got to go on Fretz's show.
Yeah, you
too.
do.
It's one of the last ones we need to go on.
Yes, I would love to go on Fretzelmania very soon. Mr. Fretz, let's talk. Let's podcast. You can find me across all social media platforms at the K Murphy, TheKae Murphy. The end of the K Murphy era is ending soon. Stay tuned for some brand changes and some announcements from me coming in the near
How ominous
future.
of you, Cameron. That's very, very foreboding.
Yeah.
But when we go...
Just when they legally change their name, they're going to do it again. Music.
Surprise!
Yes,
I'm
K
changing my
Murphy
name
is changing
again.
name again, which means new K Murphy merch, although the Resident Rainbow merch will always be available because that's just a great, phenomenal logo.
Yes.
And it helps out a lot of people. So, next week is our annual Royal Rumble preview show, the Rumble of Royalties for 2023. So we're going to be previewing everything Royal Rumble and a major, major announcement from the K Murphy themselves. And don't worry, folks, Slack's not invited. So until then, folks, goodbye, good night. We'll see you soon. And with the 31st entrant in the Royal Rumble, you know the entrant that doesn't exist, Mr. Irrelevant, it's Slack. Go fuck yourself, Slack. See you next week. Oh, Mix Murphy. Am I invited? I'm off. Frets, we will be in discussion. I know we keep saying that, but we are going to be legitimately in discussions in very much so the near future. But I did have something for the post show, besides the Tip of the Crown post show, and some of the amazing tweets and memes that we have found. Although I do like this one where it says, if anybody wants to buy WWE, it has to be in a ladder match.
I think
Pretty
that would
good.
be
Oh,
great.
Kushida's coming on Dynamite next? That is interesting.
Yeah, it's an open challenge for the TNT title.
K Murphy Taekwon has a question for you.
Can I bring the they them host to the party? Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so Will, that's what I had a Power Ranger story for you. Yeah, so you want to know how Power Rangers was made for all those years? So
Sure.
Haim Saban, or Chaim Saban is how you say his name. Chaim Saban,
Chaim?
yeah. Can you guess what ethnicity he is? Or yes,
I'm assuming he's
exactly. So how he did the show is that he bought the rights to this property called Super Sentai or Zhu Ranger in Japan. Okay, bought the rights to that video content. And so all the fighting scenes you see in Power Rangers is content from Japan. When they don't have their costumes on, that's just the scenes they did in America. What's up? Yeah.
Very interesting.
He's been making a killing. And I know, Taekwon, you had mentioned Beetleborgs earlier. The one reason that Beetleborg stopped is because they ran out of content for that show that Saban was using. Because that show went off the air after 2 seasons. But that's how he kept production cheap, because he already had half the show done. Because all the fighting scenes were all done. And they just dubbed over the voices in the fighting scenes. And to this day, Power Rangers is turning 30, which is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, dude, we're getting old.
So many of my favorite albums are turning 20 this year. And it's fucking Blink-182 self-titled album is
Stop
turning
it.
20 this year.
Stop it. That was a good album.
Ocean Avenue by Yellowcard is turning 20 this year.
Yes. Oh, I did know that fact, Taekwon, about Japanese Spider-Man is the reason that Power Rangers got Megazords and stuff. And Taekwon did also mention, so the same year that Raw debuted was also the same year Wu-Tang Clan's Enter the 36 Chambers, Midnight Marauders by Tribe Called Quest, one of the best albums that they ever did, and R. Kelly's 12 Play was also in the same year.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fritz. In the Club is
20,
Oh,
2003.
it can't be.
50 Cent Get Rich or
I
Die
was in
Trying
sixth
came out in
grade.
2003.
Stop it. I remember when that came out so vividly.
Red Hot Chili Peppers Can't Stop is 20. Hey Ya is 20. Oh, hey, oh. I loved Hey Ya.
Hey, yes. Meteor by Linkin Park turns
Oof.
20 this year.
Oof.
Dude, get the fuck out of here.
Meteor turns 20. Hybrid Theory will be 23.
Oh, man. Crawling in my skin. These wounds, they will not heal.
The Black
The Black Album
is
was not
20.
Jay-Z's best work. It was only hype because he was supposed to retire, and then he didn't because he's like, I could be a billionaire. Jay-Z does have good work. You stop it, sir. You stop it.
I
You
love
stop it.
Jay-Z.
You stop it,
Fuck
sir.
Jay-Z.
Nas
Jay-Z
said
can
the
suck
same
my
thing,
dick.
and Nas still joined him.
Hey, he's a great rapper, but he can go fuck himself.
Oh man.
I hate Jay-Z. I won't tell Jazz why I hate Jay-Z.
Why do you hate Jay-Z?
You know why I hate
actually.
Jay-Z.
I
Robinson
don't know
Cano. It's
why.
because of Robinson Cano.
Oh yeah, whatever. Robinson Cano had it coming. Fuck him. Yeah.
I mean, it was a blessing in disguise, but he was my favorite player at the time. He was like my Aaron Judge at the time.
I don't blame you. Robinson Cano was so smooth.
Yeah. Crystal.
Silky smooth.
So smooth. Silky smooth. And Jay-Z made him leave.
Whatever, that's Robinson Cano. Robinson Cano also wanted Jeter money, and he needed to stop right there.
I would do it.
I know you would have. I know you would have. That was also the problem with Robinson Cano. You never knew if he was actually trying.
Yeah. That's a great.
That was a
good way
scary
looking
part
at
about
it.
him. Like, is he putting in any effort here?
Especially when he played for, like the Mariners, not the Mariners, like the Mets, like a year or two ago. He wasn't, and it was very obvious.
Oh my god! What other things are turning 20 this year? Now I'm gonna look it up because this is bothering me. Like albums that turn albums turning 20. Because 2003 is a good mark. It's when I graduated. I went to high school in 2003, or fall 2003.
Lord
I
of
was
the
in
Rings,
sixth-
Return of the King turns 20.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Return of the
you're
King.
Right.
What a great time.
2003. I was in 6th grade and 7th grade.
I was in 3rd grade.
Let's see what we got. No, that's not good. I'm trying to look for some stuff.
I'm trying to think movies that came out in 2003.
The Matrix. One of the Matrix movies.
The 8 Mile soundtrack was in 2003.
I mean,
I
8
remember-
Mile
I
came out in
got-
2003.
Yes. I remember. No, 8 Mile came out in 2002.
I'm looking
I
at
think.
albums.
You're right. You're right. You're right, Kay.
I remember getting I got the 8 Mile soundtrack, the edited version, for Christmas in 2002.
I'm looking at- Yeah,
My
okay.
parents. Finding Nemo is 20. Goodbye.
Hey, Kay, you might know this. Do you
Good
remember
fucking
Nora
bye.
Jones?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Come Away
that's
With Me.
20.
The album is turning 20.
Come Away With Me is.
R. Kelly's Chocolate
Christ,
Factory number is. Also, Godsmack, Faceless.
Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. That whole album is 20 this year.
Let me see. Beyonce's Dangerously in Love album.
Oh, that's such a good album. The title track on that album still gives me chills. to this day.
One of I think it was Ludacris's debut album, Chicken and Beer.
Dude,
No, Chicken
Red
and
Light
Beer was
District?
before.
Oh, Chicken and Beer was this year?
so I found the Do You Smell What Barack is Cooking, and I put it in our Discord. Barack Obama's about to wrestle Hillary Clinton right now.
You're still watching it?
Well, I found it earlier. And Bill Clinton on the outside.
You want to hear another one, K-Murph? That's gonna
She doesn't let me touch her.
the Diary
Yeah,
of
let's
Alicia
hear it.
Keys.
Oh, what a great album.
Yeah, that's all 2003. John Mayer, Heavier Things.
Okay, so like controversial opinion. I don't really
stop
fuck with
it.
John Mayer. I've never
His
gotten
voice is
into
so
him.
It's so relaxing.
It's so sexy.
I don't think his voice is sexy. I don't think
He's a
sexy.
hell of a
He's not my
guitarist, I
man.
will tell you that. Like, I've seen when he actually
He is
when
a
he
good
goes ham,
guitarist.
it's nuts.
He's very talented. He's
Oh,
just
like,
not
all
my
right, so you
style.
remember when Fall Out Boy redid Beat It? You know it's John Mayer
Yes.
who does the Slash solo, right?
Yes, I knew that.
Yeah, that's
I did
John
not
Mayer
know
who does
that.
the solo on that Beat It remake.
Also, and then this surprises a lot of people. I don't really like Fall Out Boy that
My
much.
goodness.
They're mediocre as fuck.
Wow. Me and you're gonna fight, K Murphy. You're gonna fight really
I
hard.
did. However, I haven't heard the whole thing, but I heard their new song is very good, and like their old shit.
There's one album I think that I listened to, like the first maybe 8 songs of that album are
There are.
nuts.
I don't hate Fall Out Boy. Like
Hmm.
they're fine. I've seen them live. They're good. They're fine live. I saw them at Wiz Khalifa actually.
Nice.
It was that was an experience.
The Eminem
Yeah,
show is
dude.
20. Fuck me.
Ugh.
Bruce
I love that
Almighty's
album.
20. Mystic. Fuck me, Threats. Old school.
I'm gonna look at
Jesus
2003
Christ.
movies. I'm moving to that right now.
Elf. Elf came out.
Elf,
will be
Bad
20 this
Santa,
year.
School of Rock. Here's
School of
one
Rock
for
is
you,
20
Will.
this year.
Kill Bill Volume 1. 20 years
great
old.
movie.
You also have Old School, Lost in Translation, the really shitty Hulk movie.
Oh,
The one
shut
with
the
Eric
fuck
Bana.
up! I
Stop
liked
it.
that movie a
Oh,
lot.
one of the
I
best movies
tra-
ever, The
I-
Italian Job, came out in 2002. I love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. You can miss that one.
Yep.
Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. I forgot about that.
Didn't this might be 2002, but didn't Austin
That
Powers
was
Goldmember
02, I
come out?
believe. You also
02.
had
I
Once
knew
Upon
it
a
was-
Time in Mexico. Great underrated movie.
Pirates of the Caribbean,
You
Curse of the
also
Black
have
Pearl.
Scary Movie 3 and Freddy vs. Jason.
And The Grudge, I think,
I'm
too.
looking at it. I'm on IMDb. House of
The
The
Ring.
Ring was
No, that's
2002.
2002.
Let me see. Timeline. Out of Time, an underrated Denzel Washington movie. Matchstick Men is also there. Cheapers Creepers 2, House of Dead. Cradle to the Grave. That's a hood classic.
2003, I think, was when Clay Aiken did not win American Idol, and I was
Because
like,
everybody
not
wanted
okay.
Ruben, I think.
Ruben Studdard should
You
not
stop
have
it
won.
right there.
I'm with Kay.
No, fuck y'all.
You know what? It came out years later that so many people voted for that American Idol that not all the votes went through. But projected, if all the votes went through, Clay would have won.
Don't matter. Should have counted all the votes. That's all I'm saying. Madden 04. Thank you, Mr. Frets. Here's one for you, Will. I know it's a classic of yours in the movie world. Malibu's Most Wanted.
That's such a good
Stop
fucking
it, Kay
movie.
Murphy.
Oh my god, stop! I was obsessed with that movie. It's so dumb.
Let's see what else is here. I'm looking at like the top 100 movies of 2003.
I'm like thinking of middle school. And like, what did I go
X2
see?
X-Men United was also in there as well.
I remember in 2003 going to see From Justin to Kelly. It was the American
Justin
Idol
Kelly,
movie.
oh my god.
Kelly- I went to see them. I was obsessed with Kelly Clarkson. Like, Kelly Clarkson is the only American Idol winner I've ever predicted. I've always loved her like a lot. So when her movie came out, it was like finals week in school. So I went after like my English final. It was the first movie I was allowed to go to without my parents. So it was like my first like big kid movie experience. It's such a bad movie. It lasted 8 days and they pulled it from the movie theaters
You
after
know what
a week.
also came out at that time? Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday is incredible.
Kay, you would have been really fascinated to know 20 years ago.
Honestly, I was a more unhinged version
Sounds
of who I
amazing.
am today.
uh,
I was like, I very much like, I gave off Lindsay Lohan and Freaky Friday vibes.
also, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I remember being really hyped for that, or that being kind of a dud.
Yeah, I remember. It looked so good, but then it kind of sucked.
SmackDown Here Comes the Pain is 20? Wow. That's also when Call of Duty
Um,
came out 20 years ago.
wow.
Yeah. Return of the King is 20. Yep, we did mention that. What else do we have here?
Did Viva La Bam start in 2003 or 2004?
I don't know. Haha, Love Actually was 2003? My goodness. TV. TV shows of. This is a fun game. TV shows of 2003. Oh,
2000, 2003 for me was just like, I remember it so vividly because that was like when I really started getting into like emo and like alternative
yeah.
subculture. And I was like deviating from
You
being a
know what
little
started
normie.
in 2003? NCIS.
Hmm.
And
Shut up.
yeah, NCIS
Damn.
2003. That was the 2003 was also the last season of HBO's Oz. If you've ever seen Oz, that'll blow your fucking mind. That'll make you never want to go to prison.
Viva, La- Viva La Bam
So I
is
guess
20 years
what a
old. Trogdor's
Battlestar
20.
Galactica came out then. The West Wing was in the middle run.
Wait. I thought Battlestar Galactica was 2005.
Oh, my fault. There was a Battlestar Galactica movie in 2003. Sorry.
The sci-fi reboot was 2005. I
Let's see what
loved
else we
it.
have here. Wow. Kay, you might remember this. Well, I don't know if you will. Do you remember a show called The Dead Zone?
Yeah, I never watched it.
Was that one like some like it's based on Stephen King got like
Pretty
lost
much,
his memory
yeah.
or something? Yeah, I know of it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. One of the greatest shows, one of the greatest improv shows ever, started in 2003. Reno 911. That show's so it's all improv, which makes it hysterical.
I remember reading. I didn't know it was improv. I do remember
Arrested
reading
Development
911
started
though.
in 2003.
I love Arrested Development.
Uh,
2003. What else happened in 2003?
The Marlins won the World
Unfortunately.
Series, destroyed the Yankees. Wasn't
and
even
then they just
close.
dismantled the team because that's what the Marlins do. Yeah.
They couldn't afford them. Fans still didn't care.
2003. I'm pretty sure was the year Britney kissed Madonna at
Oh,
the
what a
VMAs.
moment that was.
Honestly, and like again, like it makes sense. I hyper fixated on that VMAs.
That's when the
I
VMAs
taped
were
it.
good.
Like I loved the VMAs, but I will assert the 2003 VMAs are the greatest VMAs in
Oh, do you
history.
think the Devils won the Stanley Cup? They might have. Ha.
Did the Patriots win the Super Bowl
I
in
want
03?
to say no. 2.5 Men started in 03. One Tree Hill began in 2003. Also, the ill-fated The OC. Nip Tuck began in 2003. Mythbusters began in 2003. Oh, yes. One of the greatest television shows of all time and sketch comedy was 2003 was the beginning of The Chappelle Show.
The Oakland Raiders and the
Tampa Bay blew 'em out.
Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers
Yeah.
won.
Everybody blew them out, dude. This halftime show was Shania Twain, No Doubt.
Yeah,
and
that was a bad
Sting.
one.
Yeah. I specifically remember that Super Bowl going for a walk during the halftime
Oh,
show.
okay. You want to know was another show that just came out? America's Next Top Model came out in 03.
Oh my God, that's right. I
America's Next Top
love
Model.
that
You
show.
also had That's So Raven. Started.
Lizzie McGuire, I think, came out that
The
year.
Ellen
that year
DeGeneres Show
too.
began in 2003. Penn and Teller had a show. Jimmy Kimmel Live started in 03.
Oh, Penn and
Yep.
Teller bullshit. I loved Penn and Teller bullshit.
For the
It
Will
was a really-
Terror of the World,
really
Real
good show.
Time with Bill Maher started in 2003. Yep.
Really?
We also have Joan of Arcadia.
I
Punk
remember
did
that.
also begin in 03. Viva La Bam was 2003, K Murphy. You were correct. Simple Life, that unfortunate mistake that everybody tuned into. Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh my
The
god.
first season of The Bachelorette. Ooh, this was a bad mark for Nickelodeon. The All Grown Up Rugrats series.
I liked it. I thought
I
it was cute.
didn't hate it.
It's okay. It's not awful. I will say the new Rugrats reboot is
I
better
didn't
than
know
All
they
Grown Up.
rebooted the Rugrats again.
They rebooted Rugrats again. They finally made Phil and Lil Mama lesbian.
Nice.
She was married to
Yeah,
Howard.
what
What
did-
happened to Howard?
What happened to Howard?
Howard.
Oh,
He's not in
Howard.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's on
I don't
Paramount.
have Paramount, that's why.
Because all the Nickelodeon stuff.
I'm trying to see. Scare Tactics started in 2003. Scare Tactics was fucking hysterical.
I think the SpongeBob movie might have come out in
Queer
2003.
Eye.
That might have been
Queer Eye
04.
started in
04?
in 2003. Let me see. I'm looking at all these shows that came out in 2003. A couple of these are they're starting getting bad now. Radio Free Roscoe. Wow.
Holy shit, I forgot
Radio
about that
Free
show.
Roscoe came out in 2003.
Degrassi was like really big.
Degrassi.
I rewatched it during the pandemic. It still hits.
Oh my god, Degrassi. I just. Drake was such a bitch in Degrassi.
So
I know.
I will never.
I know. The
I
music's
will
still
never
okay
get
though.
over how I'll never get over how I like discovered Drake was a musician as long as I live.
How did you discover Drake was a musician?
I was like, so like I'm a huge Degrassi fan, so like he obviously gets shot
Yeah,
and
because
he's in a wheelchair.
he's
and
the
that's, like,
only
it.
person that didn't run away when everybody else knew there was a shooter.
So I'm flipping through the channels, and on Cablevision, they have an MTV Hits channel. And I used to usually have that channel on as like background noise. So I'm like going through all the music channels like over there. And I just see Jimmy Brooks standing, healed, not in a wheelchair, rapping.
He thought he was actually paralyzed.
No, I knew he wasn't actually paralyzed, but it was still just like a shock to my system because, you know, not for Degrassi's like a Canadian television program. It's not like Aubrey Graham was exactly like on like TRL
true.
and shit. I never saw him again outside of Degrassi.
Yeah.
So I didn't think
And there's some
anything of
Degrassi
him
episodes
until
that
one
weren't
day
even
he
allowed
just-
to be shown in America,
Yeah.
which is a shame. I mean, when I did watch Degrassi, I'd never seen like a full season, but when I did watch it for a time being, it was really good shit.
Oh, I have the box set of season 2
Just season
on
2.
DVD. My best friend from childhood bought it for me because that was like our favorite
Nice.
season.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens. And Animaniacs is 30. You stop it, Taquan.
Bye.
You can go home,
Bye.
Taquan.
Oh, so we're now seeing what's turning 30?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Are we what's 1993?
Because Power Rangers is 30 now.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I want to know.
I think
That's all I need to know about Power Rangers is 30, because it's 93. 93 is it's just Power Rangers for me, really.
I'm like thinking what Disney movies came out in 1993, but nothing is coming to mind
Disney
for
movies?
93.
Beavis and Butthead is like Beavis and Butthead. What a show.
Ugh.
Well, you never saw Beavis and Butthead, right?
No, I'm too young.
Beavis and Butthead is the reason that King of the Hill exists. No, seriously,
believe
because
it.
one of her neighbors was Hank Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Funny.
He's on the show. Oh, although King of the Hill, also very underrated show. Nightmare Before Christmas is 30.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's right. It turns 30
Taekwon, you're
this
just
year.
picking up all the shit that makes us feel old and things that didn't exist before Will was born.
Yep.
Like, Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorite movies.
Rocco's 30?
Like, I have
God
so
damn
much.
it.
No. Rocco's my favorite Nicktoon.
Was Rocco your favorite one?
Mm-hmm.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's
Rocco's Modern Life.
Meow, meow,
Hocus
meow,
Pocus is
meow,
30.
meow.
Hocus Pocus is 30. What else?
Rocco's Modern Life.
That
was a
Veggie Tales is 30. Stop it, Mr. French. Ren and Stimpy. Ren and
No,
Stimpy
it's
is a
not.
great show.
There's no way that.
Ren and Stimpy should have got kicked off a year, but Ren and Stimpy's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Veggie Tales. Will, were you ever around for Teletubbies? Okay.
I watched Teletubbies a little bit.
Teletubbies, I was a little old for, but my brother was old enough for Teletubbies, so I've seen
Hell
mad
yeah.
Teletubbies.
Hocus Pocus is 30.
I am in my first car, I had a plushie of Poe, who lived in my car that it was gifted to me from a Starbucks customer because my nickname was Poe.
I can see you as a Poe.
Well, I had bright red hair
Yeah.
at the time. Like Poe.
Because it was Poe over the other three. There was Poe, one Tinky Winky.
Tinky
Winky,
Winky,
Dipsy.
Dipsy, Lala, and
There you
Poe.
go.
Apparently they've rebooted. I don't know. It's on. I don't know if it came out already or if it's on there on Netflix already. But there's a Teletubbies reboot
That's
that exists.
hysterical. You know, all that is still going on. Speaking of stuff from the 90s and 2000s. All that.
What do you mean? They brought all that
yeah,
back?
you know who's running it now? Kel's the producer.
Who?
Amazing.
Meanwhile, Keenan's hosting Saturday Night Live pretty much every week.
Is Keenan's gonna be the longest running SNL cast member if he's not
I'm surprised
already.
Keenan still has a career. I mean, SNL really rebooted his career. Because he wasn't doing shit for a very long time.
Well, I feel like I love SNL a whole lot, and I feel like is very much the reason I end up growing to love SNL. It's the same fucking show.
Yeah, all that was just SNL for kids.
Sketch comedy, yeah.
And it worked. They had some really funny people on there.
Oh, that's hysterical.
And Keenan and Kel. Keenan, I will say this. Kel's the reason that I like orange soda. Because he was right.
Yeah.
Orange soda's
also
fucking
love orange soda,
delicious.
so, y'all seen me go fucking feral for fucking some orange vodka first. I have the juice boxes in my fridge.
Oh, by the way, did any of you ever see the time on Saturday Night Live when they redid Keenan and Kel?
Yeah, it was really funny.
It was recently,
A couple
right?
years ago, yeah.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
I think I saw it.
That and I always wish Good Burger was a real thing.
I heard that they're doing a sequel.
Love burger.
Here's a good Nickelodeon question for you. What probably tastes better? I'll give you three options. You have the Krabby Patty, the Good Burger, or the Honker Burger from Doug.
Definitely the Krabby Patty.
Bold choice.
I think Good Burger's number 1, Krabby Patty number 2, Honk Burger
I
number
think the
3.
Honker Burger is underrated, but I am going to go with... I think the Good Burger is definitely the best. Not Mondo Burger, if anybody remembers Mondo Burger.
Oh, fuck Mondo Burger.
Yeah, fuck Mondo Burger.
Fuck Mondo Burger. They inject that meat. That meat's compromised.
Yeah, it's all about the Good Burger.
Welcome to the Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
It's a good... Oh, I should have sent this to you, Will. Somebody was working a drive-thru in California, and you guess who brought them their food?
Is this the Ben Affleck
No.
of the Dunkin' Donuts?
No, that was Massachusetts.
It was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's
Stone
pretty
Cold
funny.
Steve Austin was working a random drive-thru.
What method acting is Stone Cold Steve Austin
None that's
doing?
gonna work.
Well, goddamn, what kind of sauce you want?
Your order comes to 1876, and that's the bottom line.
We don't got beer. I've been telling them to.
Oh,
Diet Coke, have an IPA, Broken Skull.
Austin must be a riot to hang out with. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like, hey, Austin, pleasure to meet you, man. Big fan.
Oh my god, what a career that guy has. He still looks in great shape too. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, listen, Steve, you're so lucky you didn't get canceled for you beating the shit out of Deborah. You are so fucking lucky you did that in the early 2000s and she's annoying.
Jurassic Park is 30.
That's fine.
Jurassic Park 3.
Jurassic Park 3 is 30. No, Jurassic Park 3 is 20. The original
20.
Jurassic Park is in the 90s.
Oh, the first Jurassic Park is, the first Jurassic Park is 1993. God damn it.
That's a movie.
That is quite the movie.
That is movie. Jeff Goldblum as prime Jeff Goldblum.
He became a sex symbol.
I know women who still are in love with Jeff Goldblum.
He's hot.
There you go.
Fuck.
Well, you're not one, so okay.
Jeff, no. Jeff
He is
Goldblum
hot as fuck.
But both eras. So, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna react to this. Jeff Goldblum is playing the wizard in the Wicked movie adaptation.
Oh my god. He's gonna Jeff Goldblum his way through that.
I need it. I can't wait.
I also love. Jeff Goldblum is also amazing in Thor Ragnarok. He's such a dumbass.
I honestly just want Jeff Goldblum to walk around with me in a day and just talk about everything going on, because I feel like his perspective is just so refreshing and out there. I
was listening to a podcast and they were talking about, there are some actors who are just the same type of person in every role that they are, and that's okay. Like, for instance, if Jeff Goldblum's gonna Jeff Goldblum in any role that he has. The same thing with like Denzel. Like you know what you're gonna get from Denzel Washington every time he's on screen. Like Denzel Washington essentially plays the same character in different forms all the time.
Yeah.
Same thing with Samuel L. Jackson, and that's also really fucking funny because Samuel L. Jackson. But there are a lot of actors who are like that. Like they don't change their character. They just are who they are, and they just happen to be in a film. Trailer Park Boys are going to be at Niagara Comic Con. That's a cool thing for you, Freds. Like I never saw the show, or
I have no interest in Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, I guess that's a big thing.
So I binged this in like a week. I watched The White Lotus on HBO.
What's it about?
It was so good.
We're two episodes in.
On what season? Season 1 or season 2?
What episode? What's the show about?
So it's an anthology show. So it's like different characters and like but it's focused on a hotel called the White Lotus. So season 1 takes place in Hawaii. Season 2 takes place in Sicily. And it focuses on like these really rich, insane guests of the hotel.
Okay.
It's really good.
I'm in the middle of finishing Legion.
Okay.
Legion is... Oh, go ahead.
And I also just got caught up on Abbott Elementary.
I heard great things about that show.
It's so funny. It's similar. It's like Parks and Rec in The Office. Like it's a mockumentary, but it is a elementary school in Philadelphia. So funny.
Yeah,
it is really funny.
Don't say mean things about Velma. Damn it.
Oh my god, I need to watch it. I'm hearing awful, terrible things.
Isn't Scooby-Doo not in
Velma.
it?
It's not about Scooby. Whatever.
So stupid.
No, Legion's like one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen. It's based off of Surprise. It's an X-Men character that was named Legion, But the way that it's filmed, Kate, it's like an acid trip.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm almost halfway done with the series. But you start this entire time you believe he's schizophrenic in the first episode, like in the first season. But you realize he's not, he's a mutant, but it's also shown Legion is filmed from the perspective of you have schizophrenic paranoid type. So like you're always hearing voices, you're never really sure what you're seeing on the screen is real or not.
Oh, that's cool.
So you're always like, is this real? Is this an actual memory? Is this not a memory? You see a lot of weird shit. It's very trippy. Aubrey Plaza is a great part of Legion. I will tell you that, Taekwon. I'm becoming to like her a lot more and more.
Aubrey Plaza is also in season 2 of White Lotus.
Yeah, no, she's doing a bang up job in Legion at the moment. Now that I'm watching her, because I have this goal. I want to finish all the Marvel television products, and Legion's like my. After I finish Legion, I have 2 more, and then I'll be all caught up with like all the Marvel TV that's ever come out.
Oh, good.
Then I can just focus on the other stuff. I'm also watching Bad Batch in the middle.
I am.
Of all of this too.
I'm slowly but surely getting through Andor, meaning I watched one episode, then I haven't watched it.
You gotta watch the first like 3 at the same time. I know it's hard. It's hard as hell to get through those first couple of episodes. I will give you that.
Yeah, but Diego Luna is like one of like my like ultimate celebrity crushes.
It's
so
gonna be a hot take, but he annoys the
it.
fuck out of me in that show.
Oh, I've loved him since I'm 12 years old. Honestly, my love affair for Diego Luna turned 20 in 2004.
Yeah, Diego Luna annoys me because he speaks so softly and like this. And what is going on? Like, stop it. Just act, motherfucker.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
Hispanic.
Honestly, like he's someone that like I would put in like the hall pass
do you
category.
have a hall pass category? I want to end our stream on this.
Yes.
Who's your top 5 hall pass people?
My top 5 hall passes.
In no particular order. I don't want you to rank them.
Well, I was guaranteed. Well, I already talked to Dylan about this specific one. If ever the opportunity came to fuck Gerard Way, no questions asked, it's okay.
Okay.
My hall passes are probably also Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance. I will draw.
I love how you have like more than one.
Yeah, we're doing top 5.
You're answering too well.
Diego Luna. This is hard. Go to Will.
You have a top 5 hall pass?
I'm taking a pass.
Are you pleading the 5th, Will Tarashuk?
I am pleading the 5th.
I'm not in a relationship with Janelle Monáe. Also, we did Miss Queen Rotom? Or whoever you are. Apparently, I haven't watched The Last of Us TV series, but apparently people love it. Said it's real good, but let's see. I can try to do a top 5 right now for you, Kim Murphy, since you won't be alone on this.
Well, I will say, as frat girl from high school looks really good right now. She lost a lot of weight. Good for her.
Okay, no surprise, Sasha Banks is on that hall pass list. Also,
figured.
Elizabeth Olsen. Listen,
Okay.
Scarlet Witch work. She nailed it for me on that. Elizabeth Olsen shot up high on the charts for me. Erykah Badu, that's a great choice.
Ooh.
If I'm hall passing, it's Sasha, Elizabeth Olsen. Who else?
Selena Gomez looks pretty nice right now too.
Pass with her. It's gonna be Eva Green is also one for me. You remember Casino Royale?
I've never seen
Never
a
mind.
James Bond
She
movie.
is the female lead in Casino Royale. I always found her stunning.
Good for her.
Who else? Eva Green, Banks. or Mercedes Monet, as she's being called these days. Elizabeth
Mhm.
Olsen. I will say this: Selma Hayek. Have you seen her
Interesting.
lately? She does not age, and she is
No,
beautiful.
she has not aged at all.
Okay, absolutely beautiful. I don't know. It's gonna be hard to pick a fifth. Um, there's like I have to. The fifth has to be like a really really big, like hands down no brainer for me. And J Lo is not it actually. Oh, Christina Aguilera.
Ooh.
Christina Aguilera is always. I always like Christina over Britney for more than one reason.
That's fair.
Okay. I think I've
Okay.
narrowed it to 5.
Down at the 5.
But you also need to keep in mind, like, my attraction is not limited by gender.
That's fine. I love it.
I'm like March Madnessing my own.
You
my
should. I
celebrity
would
crushes.
love to do an entire episode about that.
For the men, it would be Diego Luna.
Get to speak to you in a soft voice the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Hello,
Diego-
Kay. I'm going to pound you into submission.
Watch out, the
Diego
Jedi are
Luna,
coming.
Frank Iero from My
Okay.
Chemical Romance. Adam Pascal, he's a Broadway
Okay.
actor. Johnny Depp.
As long as you don't shit on his
Okay.
bed.
No, I would not shit on his bed. And then women, I have narrowed it down to 2 because I have like my 2 like Hall of Fames. So do you remember the music channel Fuse from when we were in high school?
Yes.
Mistress Julia.
I don't remember Mrs. Julia. I have to look her
And then I'll send a picture. And then this actress India Moore. She was on Pose.
up. Okay, I clearly did not see
I'll-
Pose.
I will send them both in the chat.
Janelle Monáe is
Janelle Monáe
gorgeous.
is so hot.
Oh, there it is. That's what.
Well, you know who Janelle Monáe is, right, Will? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
She actually did a bang up acting job in Glass Onion.
Yeah. She has nice skin
Oh.
too.
So fun fact, this photo of Mistress Julia I'm about to send you, I hung up on my wall in
Hang
high
it up on
school.
the ceiling.
It was near my bed.
Did you send it? Let me know.
So the first one I'm sending is India Moore, the one
Okay.
from Pose. And then the second one is Mistress Julia.
Yes, I gotta see.
Nice.
Let's see what we got.
Stuff.
So. Wow. Okay. Mistress, yeah, I can see why. With Mistress Julia. Yeah.
Mistress Julia had this show on Fuse. It was called Slave to the Metal, and it used to air. It would air late
wonder
at
why.
night, and she would
I
wear
wonder why.
lingerie. She would wear lingerie, and like she had a stripper pole and shit, and she would answer like questions. It was kind of like a Dear Abby, but slutty. So I used to watch that, like literally, like Mrs. Julia hardcore was what like sold me in like middle school.
Is
Then I'm like,
anybody
okay,
reading these
like,
comments here? Taekwon
I
is
like girls.
spilling a lot of his own personal tea right now.
They Them Pussy has been the theme of the chat today, and I'm like here for it.
Taekwon's pretty much unloading on us right now. I want to hear his story in full at some point. Who did you?
We need. Wait. We have to bring back Love and War. Bring
I'm
Taquan
totally
on it.
down for it because I have a lot of content recently based on
Fair.
recent events. We could do that, Kay, actually, and bring that back. Gives me something to do. But no, we should have Love and War and just have random guests on.
They Them Pussy will
Despite
have you
being an
praise
atheist.
God despite being
Who
an
did you run?
atheist.
Who did you run
Also,
into in college, Taquan?
Also to Quan, so earlier you had mentioned that like they them pussy like makes you see like dead people. So my partner
Just let her go. Just let her go. Just let,
so
let them go. Sorry,
so
not
no,
her.
it gets
Sorry.
worse. So my partner's dad passed away when they were a teenager, and like they make a lot of like dead dad jokes. So I took a picture of the chat and I sent it to them, and I'm like, "Is this true?" And they just said, "Yes, can I confirm?"
Wow. It's one way to have an out of body experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
Christ.
Yeah, there's something I don't know
I
where to
think
go
it's time
from
to end that
there.
one.
For once, for very few times in my life, I'm speechless.
Taquan's backing you up all the way too. Okay, it's the holy grail. Jesus. All right, yeah, we're getting out of here, folks. We'll see you guys next week
Yes.
for Rebel Royalties. See ya.
Midnight music.